Welcome, everyone, to a continuation of the Tales of Megasota. Uh, it used to be Canada's basement. Now it is a thriving sort of series of settlements in what used to be Minnesota and parts of Wisconsin and parts of Canada. It is a bastion of civilization in the irradiated wasteland of Fallout. Hey, why don't you guys introduce your characters and pick one thing that was impactful that you learned or did last session? Let's start with Sam.
I am Zam, and I was a vault dweller, and I lived underground for many years. But through some help with the others here, I have left the vault and am going to explore the wasteland today. I also, in the previous part of the adventure, I found out some things which were really not great. But one thing that I did that was super exciting is I got to oh no, it's not exciting. I had to shoot people. It was terrible. It made me throw up. I don't want to do that again. But so now we're gonna go out and we're gonna see the good things in the wasteland. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Mortimer, your turn.
All right. Mortimer, Govan. One thing I learned last time is that euthanizing people is a lot easier than trying to kill them.
Right.
Euthanizing clones that thought you were their dad their entire life is a lot easier than murdering people who want to kill you back. That's true. It's a good learning. Stan?
I am your only villain. I play Stan. One thing that Stan kind of learned is throwing a grenade is not as easy as everybody thinks that it is. Especially when it becomes a dud grenade, which is also very helpful at some point in time. But he has learned that carvers are not exactly the nicest people. So, Roy?
I am Rith, and I'm playing Royce, who's a wastelander, kind of a talkative, muscle for hire, a guy who knows lots of people and hears things. Royce was impactful by raiding the kitchen and then punching some carver's lights out. So,
Well, and beating one to death with your bare hands.
well, it's discretion.
As you do.
Punching their lights out. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it wasn't super duper gross at all. But hey, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that actually happens in your life. Maybe a little bit distressing for Zam. But yeah, and I think where we landed was that although Zam, you're maybe a little bit overwhelmed with everything that's going on so far, Royce and his oddly scarred friend have seemed to be on the up and up, and have seemed to generally be helpful. And I'm sure definitely aren't thinking about like images of stacks of caps are not flashing in their heads now that they realize that they have a vault dweller and all this stuff. I mean, for the unirradiated kidneys alone, you are worth a stack of caps. So I'm sure that hasn't occurred to anyone. Hey, you were looking across the grand vista of Megasota. It is what you would expect. For the viewer, it is somewhat what you would expect of post-atomic apocalypse world. It's a little bit greener. It's a heck of a lot wetter because Megasota is the land of 10,000 lakes or more. And in many of those lakes are huge irradiated mutated lake monsters. So that's nice. But without concerted civilization and efforts on the part of humans to kind of keep the dry and the wet, it's a little marshy in a lot of spots. although there are large stands of kind of scrubby, partially dead trees, there are, in fact, some areas with what you would think of as almost a pre-apocalyptic forest. Now, the trees are maybe poisonous and the things that live in them are worse. So there's that. But it's, to a casual glance, not as bad as you might expect. Certainly not as bad as, the Commonwealth or California Republic or New Vegas kind of area. It seems more alive than some other parts of North America. But that's a dual-edged sword, as you might find out. What do you do?
Well then, welcome to the wasteland.
It smells here.
You'll get used to it.
This is the fresh air.
This is fresh.
Oh, it gets worse.
Great. Awesome.
Well then, is there anything that you're wanting to go see? Since you're out of the vault? Since we're your new best friends.
Right. Do you guys know what a zoo is?
Sort of? Maybe? Can you explain it?
It's a place with a bunch of animals that are in cages, kind of, but you can observe them. I want to steal like a bird from there, and make it my pet. I presume that might be easier because, well, everything is kind of not guarded, probably.
But the cages keep the animals in.
Right.
There's a reason we put them in the cages, so they got put in the cages.
Well, I don't want like a big bird, not like a big yellow bird, like a small bird, like something I can like hold and maybe pet.
All right.
Maybe we should just take him to the zoo and let him see.
Yeah, I think that's best. Otherwise, I can ask around, see if anybody's got a bird that's not dead.
Why would they carry around a dead bird? That's gross.
You'll learn.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Probably. So you are, I don't know, on foot? You are probably 30, 40 miles from, certainly Royce knows the zoo, or just Como as they call it. It is not a place that people go much, except for the MNG, Megasota National Guard, who go occasionally to repair any breaks in the wall that surrounds it, and to try to shore up any areas where the nearby lake, which is also surrounded by a wall, where any of the soil has subsided that created a gap. You have, however, heard, Royce, that there are people who will pay a pretty penny for specimens, alive or dead. Alive is worth more, although some of the larger things, there's not really an option to do that. Eggs, you can get a very fancy price from that. You have a contact within the academics faction, and you know that certainly samples from especially some of the more recent, very novel mutations and hybrids at Como are things that they would pay for. You also know it's a great way to get eaten alive. Or have like eggs laid inside you and other stuff. But definitely a thing you can do.
Going to the zoo.
Definitely a thing you can do. Cool. So you were going to escort your new friend over to Como. So how would you like to get there? As someone who is generally familiar with the area in real life, but also the one character who's familiar with the area. What is your plan to get, because you are currently way up in Willow Bluff, which is in reality Little Falls. So up north of
It's a hike.
St. Cloud. Got to get all the way down to Como.
Right, and I imagine the Megasota National Guard corridor is pretty much on well east of us.
Yes, it's on what was I-35. Now, that's a little bit of a longer way, but you know what? Certainly once you get on the North Road, it's significantly safer. There are occasional patrols. Some of the settlements are actually run by the M&G. Some of them are kind of like free zones. The M&G is, I think it's not exactly democratic, but it holds some kind of older values, some pre-war values, which is good in some ways. It does mean that within M&G controlled areas, they don't allow like extensive chem abuse, gambling, prize fights, that kind of stuff. But there are a couple of settlements that do allow that and do have an M&G presence, but they're technically unrelated. So I think specifically you probably would
we'll
know.
Probably head to Hinkytown.
Yeah.
And then head down. It's gonna take a few days at the quickest, but
Yeah.
we don't want to just cut cross country.
Cool. So I would say, if you can get to Hinkytown and then head down, it's a day or so between. And that's assuming that you stop and scavenge and, to kind of take your time. Your challenge in cutting across is that is going to put you fairly close to Valhalla. Do you have a reputation, good or otherwise, with the residents of Valhalla?
What is
Valhalla? Valhalla is the Vikings, or so they call themselves. They're a group that kinda are raiders, but sometimes they're better. But man, if you get on the bad side, they're a lot worse.
Yeah. They're raiders with a code of honor.
I would say Stan probably has never interacted with them.
No.
Just because he is a ghoul, he just kind of stays away from everyone unless it's a major city. So
Royce, would you give me just an intelligence? I think that's the skill that would make the most sense. There's not or the attribute. I don't think there's a skill that would apply here.
I got a 7 and my intelligence is a 5.
Okay. Wait, remember you're rolling 2.
All right. 2 7s.
Cool. So Stan says, "Oh, I've never heard of them. I don't know, whatever." Maybe it triggers something like, "Huh, I've never seen a ghoul with any of the Vikings." Weird. But it doesn't trigger anything further. Like, would people who got their entire ethos and culture from reading books about Vikings have a particular feeling, and who venerate death in combat, have a particular feeling about someone who doesn't die? Who knows? You're not smart enough to figure it out. So it's probably fine to take a ghoul and a robot into Viking territory.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe we'll run into one of the Valkyries. You've heard that they're something special.
Gorgeous.
Well, I mean, hopefully we can barter our way through with some vault food and liquor.
It's true. You do have some awesome trade goods. Cool. Well, hey, who is leading is what I want to know.
I would imagine Royce would be leading.
Cool.
I would probably be in the back, making sure that Zam doesn't get left behind.
Okay. So you are kind of keeping Overwatch, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Cool. Zam, are you just kind of like wandering through? Are you trying to get samples of things? Are you kind of wandering off the path to go explore? Are you sticking close to your friends? How are you approaching this trek?
I am probably following Royce. I'll probably be behind Royce with Mortimer behind or beside me, and then stand in the back. But I'd probably every now and then duck off and kind of like look at, like, get a little closer to maybe some of the trees and other flora that is around.
Okay, cool.
Nothing too close to where it could be dangerous or heavily irradiated or whatever. I don't know. But just get a better look at things, but still not too far from Royce. Not to where they have to constantly be like, hey, keep up.
Okay, cool. So just a little bit distracted. And Mortimer, what is your contribution to the trek?
I'm just gonna watch of Zam because that's my whole point of existence at this point.
Yes.
I mean, you have 3 eyes.
You do. You have 360-degree vision. So for Stan, Zam, and Mortimer, I just need a perception. And for Royce, I need an endurance survival.
No successes.
Cool.
I have 1 success.
Okay.
No successes. Close. And then
And Mortimer?
I have 1 critical success.
Oh, so 2 successes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So that nets you 3 action points because this was a difficulty 0. So we are starting out with a few action points, which you might need. So Zam, you are, checking out trees, and some of them Royce is like, watch out that one. Or, oh, be careful over there. It gets really swampy. So you're keeping an eye out enough. And maybe we'll say your failure on the survival roll is because you were a little bit too distracted trying to keep Zam from stepping into holes and stuff. So maybe you're not keeping your eye on the path quite as well as you ought to. Mortimer is, however, watching Zam like a hawk with 2 of his eyes. So that's probably a good thing. Zam, you see what you think was probably a cabin. Kind of grown over with this thick, kind of leathery, almost kudzu-like vine, but almost like a greeny purple color, very dark. And it smells, I don't know, actually kind of good. A little bit like cucumber, but peppery. It has a very strong vegetal smell. You have, in the hydroponics bay, you've got like actual tomatoes, not the pulpy, flavorless things that they have in the wasteland. This smells like, in real life, I don't know if you've ever dealt with live tomatoes, but like if you break off a leaf, it has that very particular smell. It's like that plus cucumber crispness. There's something alive and pleasant about it. And the cabin looks, I mean, it's been there for a long, long time, but it certainly doesn't look like it's been looted recently, because the door and the windows are grown over with this vine. So I'm assuming that you maybe just take a look because of the smell, see how things are. And you hear a buzzing sound.
Like what kind of buzzing? Like the buzzing of like a fusion
It's higher pitched than that.
reactor?
I think it sounds to you like the buzzing of one of the lights in the rec room that
Okay.
you have had to replace like 5 or 6 different times. Mortimer kept reassuring you that the wiring was absolutely up to standard. But for whatever reason, that particular bulb would start to zzz, 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 make noises and then kind of flicker a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's how you would associate the sound.
I don't think maybe they do have electricity out here. I don't know.
You haven't seen any, what are they called? The things that you plug in the stuff to, that you attach the wires to?
Sockets?
No, the
Transformers?
you know what I'm saying.
Generators?
No, those either. Conduits.
Okay.
You're not seeing it. You're not seeing any conduits, which is probably a little bit unusual. Like you've never been outside, so it's kind of like, oh, where are the walls? Is that the ceiling? Oh no, that's just open sky. I mean, you've read books and seen green screen videos, but yeah, your instincts are to look for faulty wiring and then realize that there, as far as you know, aren't any. What happens? Mortimer
strange.
for sure also hears it because Mortimer is on high alert and got 2 successes.
I'm gonna open the door.
Okay. Go ahead and give me just make it a strength athletics.
Strength athletics, sure. No successes.
Ooh. You want to buy a die with one of those action points?
Sure, why not? Okay, that's worse. So no.
Was it a crit fail?
No.
Okay.
It's only an 18.
Okay. Well, the complication range on this task is just a 20, so we don't have to worry about that. So yeah, you go to, like, you probably are looking for the buttons to push once you realize that it's not an auto opening door, and you're looking for the panel and you can't figure that out, and then you remember something in a holotape about knobs and handles. So like you find that and you're turning it, and it gets a little bit frustrating. So you wind up kind of just like yanking on the door to no effect. The buzzing gets louder and everyone can hear it.
I guess this door might be broken. What do you think, Mortimer?
Why are you touching things you should not be touching?
Am I not supposed to touch things? I was not told this.
I don't know if you know this, but we are not at home any longer, and trying to open doors that are not yours could potentially cause the death of you and potentially us, because you may have pissed off who lives here. So please think more logically next time. I feel like you have set off some kind of alarm, and we are about to be in trouble.
That's a good point, Mortimer. You should stand in front of me when they open the door and apologize for me, because you're better at that than I am. And courteous.
Actually, That's probably a good idea because your other models were a little bit smarter than you currently are. So clearly you make dumb decisions every so often, and I'd rather you not get yourself and the rest of us killed.
Something serial cloning, something genetic degradation. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You forgot to mention forgot to mention more handsome too. But anyway, so you are preparing yourself, Mortimer, to greet the resident of this cabin in case they are offended by Zam's attempted entrance.
It's probably the best decision.
Cool. Well, the good news is no one comes to the door. The bad news is, from your angle, you couldn't see it. The roof has largely collapsed, and the residents, which are also the source of the buzzing noise, fly out of it. Royce, I think you probably know that these are deer flies. So they are, I don't know, the size of a Labrador. And they have a symbiotic relationship with a certain type of radioactive fungus that creates this kind of complex dendritic kind of protrusion from their heads. They very much like to feed on the fluids of people. And they apparently have been roused and would now like to eat you all. What happens?
Rice will say, all right, we got to kill these bugs. Otherwise, they're going to eat us.
All right. And I think actually, I'm trying to remember the order. I think that Stan is first in initiative order. I think it goes Stan, Mortimer, Zam, and then Royce.
Yep.
So Stan, I think these are not common in on the East Coast, although they're all kinds of like they're not like you know what bloat flies are, you know what stingwings are, you know what mosquitoes are. So you've seen some of those. You're able to recognize that it's some sort of weird mutated insect, but you haven't seen things like these before. They look like little flying tanks. They're not all spindly like a lot of the things. A little bit like they look like giant horseflies.
Okay.
With antlers.
I'm gonna
that
go
glow
ahead and just
and shed
probably
spores.
Probably just gonna pull out my new sharpshooter pistol or pipe revolver that I got from the carver last session and take a shot at one.
You should totally do that.
So
there are 3.
So I got 1 success and 1 epic fail. I got a 20.
Oh, so it's a success and a complication. Interesting. Well, let's see. Okay, cool. I have an idea. Go ahead and roll up your dice. So what's the fire rate on that?
It's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay. So if your fire rate is greater than 1, you can spend an action point to add another combat die.
Oh, okay. So it has a damage of 4.
Spend an ammunition. Spend an extra ammunition to add another die. So like if you have a fire rate of 4, your normal attack is going to use 1 ammunition, but you could add 3 more by spending additional ammunition to get a combat die.
Okay. So the base damage is 4, so that would be 4d6, right?
Yeah. So it's 4d6, and you're just using a regular weapon. So these are just animals. So they don't have any resistance. So you'll just roll with a 4. Well, they have resistances, but not to physical damage.
I don't. So I got a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 6.
So 1 is 1 damage, 2 is 2 damage, 3 is nothing, and 6 is a damage and an effect. Does the weapon have any qualities on it that can be activated with an effect?
It has remove inaccuracy and pierce 1.
Okay. So you could activate Pierce 1, but yeah, it doesn't have any DR to pierce.
Okay.
So you're good. So that was a total of 4 damage, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, 4 damage.
I think that's it's not quite a would you like to spend an action point to do more damage? To get an action.
Is that okay with the team?
Go for it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go ahead
Because
and
there's
spend
a
an action point.
mechanically with a critical hit or 5 points of damage or more in one hit, that actually inflicts a wound, which will change things for it.
So that is a 2 on the die.
Another.
So it's 2 more damage.
Haha, beautiful. Cool. And that says torso, although the die is not, it's keyed for humanoids, not other things. I'm going to say torso is bad. You hit it in the torso, but also like knock off one of its wings. So that one, although not dead, falls to the ground with a thud. And this viscous fluid begins to not really flow or leak out of it, but crawl out of it. Have you ever seen a slime mold? Yeah. It's this faintly glowing, kind of greeny yellowish stuff that starts crawling out of it. Like blood. It's real nasty. But that one is at least, we'll say it's down, but not out.
Okay. And then the complication?
Complication. Yeah, I think the gun jams.
Fair enough.
It can be repaired, but it's going to have to be repaired.
Okay.
Cool. Mortimer or Zam? Let's say Mortimer, since you like literally said you were on guard and going to like there to be protecting Zam. So Mortimer, you will go, and then Zam.
Right. Here. I decide to swing my buzzsaw.
Yeah.
At one of them. And sorry, I'm a bit out of it today. What
No worries.
2d20.
I rolled a critical success and a critical failure.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I mean, good, right? But also something terrible is going to happen. I think I know what. Actually, I know exactly what. Go ahead and roll your damage. You can spend that action point for additional damage if you'd like, or you can bank it.
I'll bank it for now.
Okay, so we're back up to 3, I think. 2. Oh, we spent 2. Okay, because you spent 1 for the thing. Yeah, cool. So we're back. We're back at 2.
Okay.
What'd you get there for the damage? I think you roll 4 dice, right?
Yeah. Roll 2 1s, a 2, and a 5.
Oh, wow. So 5 points of damage. Well done. I don't think your buzzsaw has any qualities that can... Oh, it's also got piercing, but
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. So that is also a wound to this thing, which is perfect. So you activate your jet a little bit to kind of move up higher since these things are flying above. Like you kick on the afterburners and just fly up and then just catch this thing across the belly. At the one that was like directly above you guys, and just slice it open. The complication is that all the stuff in it spills out all over Zam.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's you're pretty sure like the little bobas that are wriggling around in the self-motile goo are probably eggs. But the goo itself stings and is trying real hard to like crawl up your nose and in your mouth and in your ears and stuff. And the Geiger counter on your Pip-Boy starts click, 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 click. Do you have any rad resistance? I don't remember if you do or not. No. Oh, no, you do. You have rad DR everywhere but your head.
of course. Yeah, because I'm wearing a vault suit, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's just it might do something to you if you don't get it off you. But for now, you haven't actually taken any rad damage.
Right.
It's just enough to set the alarm on your Pip-Boy off.
Mm-hmm.
And the alarm in your body because you're covered in foul-smelling radioactive goop.
Yep.
Yay! What do you do?
Well, because I am a brave vault dweller that is in the wasteland for the very first time, and I've gotten goo on me and other little things, I'm going to, of course, freak out, try to get it all off my face and my hair and everywhere, and then I'm going to run behind Royce.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. All right. Well, so let's see. The one on the ground. Oh, actually, Royce, just go ahead.
I'm going to use
I'm going to say they go
pipe
after
gun.
you. Yeah.
Shooting the last remaining flying one. And let's see, what is my target number? I've got 2 misses, so I'm going to buy another die.
Cool.
And we got a 2, so that's a hit.
And is this one of your key or your tag skills? Okay.
It is not a tag.
Okay.
So this is a 1, a 3, and a 4, so only 1.
1 point of damage. You literally just wing it or lag it, like it hits one of the legs, but not enough to prevent it from functioning, but definitely enough to attract that one to you.
Make it mad.
So that one now has a very clear path to doing what it wants to do, which is to fly down and try to bite you. Your physical defense is, your defense is what?
1 everywhere but my head.
That's DR. Your defense is.
Oh, sorry. Defense is 1.
Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, that's a critical, and then a 16, which is a fail. So it got 2 successes. Your physical DR is what?
1. Everywhere but my head.
Yeah, and it's going torso, so where most of the blood is. So that applies. It's just 1 point of damage.
Hooray! It doesn't bite through the armor.
No, it's 1 point of damage after DR. I removed the die, so it actually does a point of harm to you. Yeah. Would you give me an endurance survival, please?
Man, 2 more 7s, which is exactly what happened the last time.
Want to buy a die?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Remember, you can give me action points if you run out of ones of your own.
All right.
We also have a minor boon and a major boon that we can use from Sin.
That's true.
If you don't want to buy a die.
I did buy a die, and I got a success on that. Rolled a 2, so that beats my.
Cool. So yeah, you didn't.
Said...
Nothing super gross happens. I mean, it bites into you, but it hasn't had a chance to really latch on, and maybe hasn't had a chance to inject you with something.
Oh wait, you said endurance survival.
Yeah.
That was 7, and my first 2 rolls were both 7s.
Oh,
So I was misreading. I was doing the perception.
cool. Well, let's say you
So-
you bought the die. That's a total of 4 successes. So you're gonna get 3 action points off that.
All right.
Because that
Back up to 4.
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good for you.
Take us up to 4.
So you netted 3 on that roll, which is good.
Yeah.
Um.
Game
Cool.
in the system.
So yeah, we'll just say that you wing it, which kind of makes it dodge and juke a little bit. So it comes in for a bite, but you're able to kind of push it off. When it bites, it kind of lands partly on you, like its wings are still flapping, but some of its weight. These things are pretty heavy. Like it doesn't quite knock you to your feet, but it could. The one that's on the ground, whose guts are kind of leaking out, is going to try to make its way over to Stan. However, oh yeah, no, not even close. It's just kind of sitting there flopping around. The stuff inside it is quite rapidly, like in these channels and tentacle kind of things, making its way that way, but the main body is having a very hard time moving at all. The one that is busy leaking gunk everywhere, I think
Got its belly sliced
yeah,
open.
I think it is going to, knowing it's dying, I think it's just going to dive bomb Mortimer. So Mortimer, your defense is what, 1? Yeah. Oh. Well, no, that's it. Okay, yes. So it does get the 1. And your physical DR, however, is 2. And you are immune to a lot of the other stuff that it does. And it does nothing to you. So Zam, as you're standing behind Royce trying to get this gunk out of your eyes, and it's not like I've been slimed and you can wipe it away, because as soon as you do, it starts to try to crawl back into place. You see this thing kind of dive bomb at Mortimer and kind of catch him a glancing blow. So Mortimer just kind of spins around in the air a little bit, buzzsaw wearing, but doesn't appear to be harmed. Cool. Back at the top with Stan.
Noticing that his gun has jammed and that this one is on the ground flopping around, he's just gonna holster his revolver, his brand new gun that he was gonna use again but can't, and pull out his wrench and go over and just try to smack it.
You'll have to drop it.
What do you mean? Drop it?
Because you'll have to use your minor action to pull out the wrench.
Okay.
So if you want a minor action, draw out another weapon and then use it as a major action, you'll have to drop the revolver. I mean, it's not like you're not going to drop it into a hole. It's just right on the ground. Yeah. But just clarification for action economy.
Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'll go ahead and just drop the pistol then, and then walk over to him and smack him with the wrench.
Cool. I'm gonna say the difficulty is 0 because it's prone and can't move.
That's 2 successes.
Cool.
And that is 3 damage. That is just 1 damage. It's a 6. So, and I don't have any effects.
Do you want to add any more damage with those action points you just generated?
Did I generate 2 action points with the 6? Yeah, sure. Then I'll just add both of them to it then.
Cool.
It's another 6, so another 2 damage.
Cool.
I got a 1 on the other one.
So okay, cool. 2 damage. Yeah, I mean
3 damage total.
3 damage total. You crunch into it. It is that one took 5. Okay, yes.
6.
Yeah, so you have that one is now dead. You whack it a couple of times. Its carapace breaks open. You're not splashed by its innards because half of its innards have crawled out. But it's real gross. There's a puff of foul stuff. Like as you're pounding it, one of the antlers breaks off and then just kind of disintegrates into spores. So maybe you pull up your
Ooh, if
handkerchief
it's
a little bit.
radioactive. Yeah, I was gonna say if it's radioactive.
It's radioactive, you're fine, but if there's other stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
You saw this holotape once called The Last of Us. It's a real different take on ghouls. Cool. Mortimer. There's one that is trying its best as its guts leak out all over Zam to knock you out of the air.
Okay. I decide to swing my baseball bat at this one.
Yeah.
Remind me what the success range is again.
So the success on your baseball bat is going to be so your target is 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got a 5 and an 8.
Okay, so that's 1 success, which is enough.
Mm-hmm.
So now roll your 5 damage. About 5 damage die. Combat dice.
I have a 1, 2 2s, 4, and a 5.
So 6 total damage. Because the 4 doesn't count for anything. The 5 counts as 1, the 1 counts as 1, and the 2 counts as 2. So 6 total damage. I'm going to say, because it's funny, you're spinning around and you use that momentum as it kind of flies back up for another last-ditch effort to whack it even harder. And it bursts open like a piñata. And everything that was inside it that didn't spill over Zam sprays all over Zam and Royce.
I didn't get a thing this time, though.
It's true. Well, this isn't going to cause any additional consequences. It's just for flavor. Like Royce isn't going to have to worry about any potential radiation stuff. It was that first. I mean, it was basically empty because you had sliced it open.
Gotcha.
Cool. So well done. What you doing, Zam?
Well, I'm behind Royce still. How many are left alive? Just the one?
Yeah.
2. Just the one.
Just the one.
That one's in. Where's that one?
It's in pretty good shape, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay. Where is it in relevance to where I am?
Was attacking Roy, so
Right.
Yeah.
So it should be.
It got on Royce and then he kind of pushed it back. So it's kind of hovering quite near you. If you wanted to be within melee range to it, you certainly could be.
All right. Yeah, I'll use my switchblade on it.
Cool.
I need to buy new dice. That's what I've learned.
Got lots of action points you can spend to buy additional dice. The first die is 1 action point. The second die is 2 action point. The third die is 3 action points. So that would cost 6 total. And you can't ever roll more than 5.
Right. Okay. So I will buy 1.
Cool.
we're down to 2.
Oh, okay. I got a success on that one.
Cool. Just the 1 success?
Yeah.
Cool. Do your damage. Which is a fair amount. It's 6 dice.
Is it 6 dice?
For your switchblade, yeah. No. Sorry, 2 dice. Your target number
2
6.
dice. Yeah. Let's say.
It's
I think I was
the
reading it right.
downside of playing in the dark.
Yeah. Okay. So I got 3 total damage.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you get a really good like stab up near one of its weird multifaceted eyes.
Yeah.
Like it's tugging against your hand and your knife, and you know you're all super slimy, so it's kind of hard, but it pops out, creating a little bit of space. So Royce, I think you're on mute.
Thank you. If this thing is close enough, I will just try and punch it
Yeah,
since it bit me and I'm mad.
bite it back. I mean, don't.
Don't bite it, but punch it back. I'm gonna buy a die. Oh, complication and just miss. I am going to. I'm gonna give you an action to buy another die.
Okay.
All right, that one still missed my target number, but with my daring nature,
You can
if I
reroll a
attempt to-
d20. Yeah.
I can, so I'm gonna reroll the 20,
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea.
and that one's a hit.
Oh, good. So it went from a complication to a
one-
hit.
Yeah.
You got that lucky scoundrel situation going on.
Yeah. So unarmed damage is 3, 1, 3, and 5.
So 2 points of damage, right?
What's the damage? Yep. And unarmed does not have any effects.
Yes. And I think. Oh, you were just using your unarmed. You weren't using your knuckles. You have your knuckles on.
All right. I was just thinking if it was. I guess I walk around with them on.
I think you probably walk around with them underneath your gloves, just because.
Okay.
Yeah. So any more damage?
Then, yeah, 1 more damage.
Oh, yay! Cool. So not quite down, but it is. I think a little bit more wary of you at this point. And also you got it got over near you and got stabbed and punched. It's not quite sure what the flying thing is, but clearly going up against that doesn't work. So it's going to go after Stan. Since you're over out of reach of these hurt machines.
Defense is 1.
Oh, well. Cool. Hey, your attack is up next. So let's just say, because I rolled a complication. What was your plan to take out this last one?
Well, since it flew over to me, I'll just wait for it to kind of get into range and just smack it with my wrench out of the air.
Cool. Roll that up.
Okay. 2 misses.
Cool. Take a free die to reflect its complication.
Oop. That is a success.
Cool. And roll your wrench damage.
3 damage with an effect. Which I don't have one.
And the pipe wrench doesn't do anything. So 3 damage plus that. Yeah. So cinematically, it fumbles trying to get away, and just kind of lazily meanders over towards you, giving you perfect time to just pull back. It's not smart, so it doesn't realize what you're doing, and it literally flies directly into the box, and you home run it out. And then just for flavor, Royce and Zam are splashed with more goop. Yay! You have
Yay.
effectively killed 3 bugs.
Nice. I'm gonna go back over and pick up my pipe revolver before we keep on heading out.
Yeah.
Well, Zam, since you decided to try to open up this door, do you want to go ahead and look inside now?
Oh, that door's broken. It doesn't open. There's no keypad.
Can Stan try to go over and try to open up the door?
Yeah. You want to just like kick it in?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just try to just boot to the door.
Oh, it needed a footprint. Got it.
I'm used to handprints or maybe retinal scans.
Learning all sorts of new things out here.
All right, if he dies, his kidneys will make the payoff.
So yeah, go ahead and roll your strength though, strength athletics if you have athletics.
Okay.
It's difficulty 0, so if you get any successes, we'll add that as action points.
So I got 1 success.
Cool. Yes, you smack it open. You are greeted by the desiccated forms of a couple of survivors. It's difficult to tell how long they were there, but it does seem like they had been there for a bit, because you can tell like they made some attempt at repairing the hole in the roof.
Mm-hmm.
At least enough to give their little campfire and sleeping bags cover from the rain. And you can tell that like some areas, like that weird vine has kind of intruded on the inside. You can see areas where that had been cut away, and there's a very pungent smell, kind of a combination of whatever stuff the deer flies excrete, little bit of dead people, but a lot of like whatever that vine is, but obviously burned.
Mm-hmm.
Someone can give me an intelligence science, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm smart. I don't know how doors work, but I got this.
Doors just work.
Yeah, I got a critical success.
So 2 successes.
Yep.
Cool. You are fairly certain, no AP from that. You are fairly certain that the burnt kind of resin or residue of this weed has like it smells like some of the concoctions that Mortimer used to teach you to make in the chem lab. So you're fairly certain it has medicinal properties.
Huh.
Smells like a mixture of skunk and cabbage. So you can do with that information. This is just a thing that you realize. Inside, I'm looking for my fancy table because there's tables. Here we go. So inside, you are going to find, because there's 2 of them, you are going to find that is 21. Ooh. You find 13 38 rounds, which is good because I think all of you are currently using 38 rounds. You find 8 and 9 is 17. 2, 3, 4. You find 13 45 rounds. Oh, that is the hit location die. There we go. You find... change that to 44 rounds on the basis of what I just rolled for the weapon. You find a 44 pistol. And what is that? A tire iron. You find... Ooh. A stem pack. And I will say 3 little tins, like they were probably cat food tins, that are filled with this very pungent black paste, as opposed to another random chem. And let's see if there's any other good stuff. Nope to armor. Nope to... Nope to beverages. Ooh, okay. That's not going to work. Oh, and you find a badly kind of creased, obviously much loved, but not burnt issue of Grognak the Barbarian.
Ooh.
Which is not a permanent boost like in the video game, but I think with Grognak, you get a one time one of your melee attacks does +2. Yes. One successful melee attack you make inflicts +2 combat dice. So that might, anyone can take that. So yeah, you got some, you found some cool loot. Oh, and probably some bottle caps. 4 bottle caps. You're rich.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab the bottle caps and just split it evenly between all of us, and then just give Sam 2
Yeah.
since Mortimer doesn't have hands.
a little port opens up in Mortimer's body. It's like, give him my cut.
What are you talking about? I have caps.
Yeah, he does. He has caps.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess here's your cap then. I'll go ahead and take the 38 rounds since that's what my pistols currently use, unless someone else uses.
I do too. So let's split that. I'll take 6. You take 7.
Okay.
You'll probably use more than I. And then yeah, who wants the 44? I'm not the best shot.
I'll take the 44.
Unless,
I mean, there's not too many 10mm rounds out here, I would imagine.
there's a fair amount. It's just you don't have many.
I don't have many.
Yeah, that's fine. You can go ahead and take a spare gun. That's fine. You said 44. It's a 44 pistol with 44 rounds, correct?
Yeah, I had rolled 45 rounds, but when I rolled the 44 pistol, I thought it made more sense to make the rounds match the pistol.
All right, that's fair. Okay.
So you have a 44 pistol and what was it, 13 rounds?
Yes.
Cool. I will look up the stats on that.
Okay.
I think it just does more damage.
Cool.
Cool.
I can do it for you.
Cool. Awesome. So that was a good little experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you also made plenty of noise right next to Viking territory with all the gunshots, but whatever, it's fine. Cool. Where to next? Keep going. Does anyone want to do anything about the motile gunk that is crawling all over you, particularly you, Zam?
Yeah, I need to get that off.
You can give me another intelligent science if you'd like.
Insert Mr. Handy joke.
Wow.
Scientist.
Look, I didn't say it. That is.
Well, now we're all thinking it.
All right. Well, I don't know anything.
Okay.
Tried wiping it off my hands. That didn't work. Tried wiping it off with
Would me or Roy know how to get it off?
yeah.
I think Roy could make just an intelligence check. Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe can make a check. Will they know? Who's to say?
Does not succeed the intelligence check.
You know that this stuff is extremely pernicious and hard to get off, and that it's probably good for Zam's long-term health to get it all off. You know that it is. It doesn't seem to be. Well, I think that's about it. Like, you don't get any details that would lead you.
We should get it off.
Yeah, you know you need to get it off, but you don't have any info about the way to get it off.
We have water we could try, or maybe some alcohol.
Alcohol probably wouldn't be that bad of an idea. At least we'll try to clean it.
Yeah, that could disinfect it or sterilize it, whatever it is. It stings a little bit, so I think it's something acidic. So maybe an alcohol would work great.
Cool. So deduct one of your bottles of booze. And yeah, you're going to take some of the fine vault whiskey and aged in aluminum canisters and pour it all over. And yes, I mean, maybe you had already tried in a little puddle of water. It doesn't seem to be, if anything, it's hydrophobic. But the alcohol seems to dissolve it. It's almost sap-like, so it takes some sort of solvent. And spinning a bottle of whiskey is sufficient to get it off you. And you I'm going to say you swish out your mouth and pour some in your ears and all that good stuff. So it's a little bit of a thing. I'm sure Mortimer goes over to help, but someone is quick enough to stop the lit flame that is Mortimer's repulsor jet from setting Zam alight.
I was going to say, while he was working with alcohol, I actually was going to find dirty water.
Yeah.
Use my integral boiler to make one purified water.
Perfect. Yeah, I think at about that time, you saw Zam fiddling around in that puddle, and you're like, oh, fine. And just a little tube comes out, and you vacuum up the dirty, slightly radioactive water. And then there's a lot of, there's a funny syncopated kind of like chugga sound coming from within Mortimer's body. And occasionally a little vent open and some steam jets out. A little tune plays. And then ding! A little canister plops out. Which I think is the first time Royce or Stan have seen this particular technology. The ability to turn dirty water into purified water without having to build a big, huge extractor is probably fascinating and also potentially highly profitable.
That's a neat trick.
Cool.
Oh, how often can you do that, Mort?
Do what?
The whole dirty water and the clean water.
Your body doesn't filter dirty water into clean water? I thought that's the whole point of the urinary system.
Where's all the bad stuff go?
Maybe there's like a pellet that you eject, like a ping, and this little pellet of compressed dirt and radioactive dust like pings off the wall of the nearby cabin.
Actually, it would go into the propulsion system to keep
Oh,
them afloat.
you probably extract the radioactive isotopes to help fuel your core, and then any gross matter just gets ejected. Cool. Super efficient. Those Syntech guys, I mean Voltech, but
handy.
Syntech. That's why they call him Mr. Handy. Sorry, that it's a polite reason why they call him Mr. Handy. All right, cool. So you had a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break. So who took damage?
I took one.
Cool. Did you have any lingering from the fight?
I think I took 1 damage in the other fight too.
Cool. Well, you have a stim pack, a spare stim pack now, which you could use, if you wanted to. If it just depends upon like how you are feeling about your current health.
I think with 2 damage, it's not that bad yet.
Okay. Famous last words. No, it's fine.
Right.
Cool. All right. So what next?
I think we keep
Trucking
tracking.
along. Yeah.
Cool.
Trucking along.
Let's go ahead and get another series of rolls. Let's see if Royce, now realizing the danger of the area, can stay a little bit more focused. And we'll see if Zam, Mortimer, or Stan notice anything else fun.
What am I rolling?
Just
Survival
straight up,
or
straight up
just
perception.
straight perception?
But Royce is rolling endurance survival.
All right, my endurance survival has got a success.
Cool. Good deal. Difficulty 0, so that'll generate an action point.
I got a success as well.
Ooh, 2 action points.
I actually get 1 critical success, so 2 successes.
Ooh, 4 action points.
I got 1 success on the survival endurance.
Ooh, 5 action points, which puts you, I think, back up to full. Once we deduct 1 for changing scenes, it's all good. Cool. So yes, I'm going to say that reflects you guys being a little bit more cautious. Zam staying kind of close by everyone. Everyone kind of being very alert, especially to any sounds or any buzzing. And the good news is you don't hear any. You make it throughout the rest of the day. I'm going to say you're making decent time. You're probably, I think, Royce, skirting, not making a direct straight line, because you're probably skirting a little bit south just to stay a little further from Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. With those, all those great perception, Mortimer, especially with the critical, I'm going to say that Morty finds a partially collapsed gas station on what was once probably a country road or a state highway kind of thing, or a county road, not a major thoroughfare.
Are you
That
going to take me home?
right. That appears to be, it's like I said, partially collapsed, and I'm sure has been looted thoroughly, but seems to be reasonably safe based on Morty's initial examination.
Good place to hole up.
Yeah. Hey, Zam, do you have any ranks in medicine?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
How many?
3.
Ooh. Now that you've stopped, you might want to give some people first aid.
You mean not Mortimer, right?
No, Mortimer takes a different check. That's
Right,
an intelligence plus repair. It's intelligence plus medicine for a person. And no one has any wounds.
I do. Well, I don't have any wounds, but I am missing health.
You're missing health, but no one has suffered a critical wound. Cool.
So medicine on.
Do one on Royce and one on Stan. Why not?
Well, I mean, I can do one on Royce. That's not a problem. Just do quick medicine on him. So it's just the what am I rolling?
So you're rolling intelligence and medicine.
Right. Well.
Is there-
2 successes.
Ooh, 2 successes. Great. If I'm not mistaken, that is going to, because he doesn't have any wounds, that is going to generate an action point, which you could spend immediately to heal more damage. You are going to heal 3 damage on a success because you have 3 ranks of medicine. Royce is missing, what, 4? Or no, you're just missing a couple. So you're totally fine.
Okay.
So you can bank that AP if you would like.
Sure. Aren't we already at full though?
I think we're at full. But if you want to attempt with Stan, we'll count that all as kind of the same scene.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good because he looks a lot worse for wear. I mean, he's got like a hole in part of his arm.
He's going to need some reconstructive surgery.
We need to find another vault and fix him.
Some dermaplaning.
I don't think he's supposed to look that way. He looks sick, guys.
You pull out some. You pull out some.
One of you two are going to have to maybe, Old Yeller him. I don't know. I watched it was green, so I don't know.
Pull out some Syntec
Green
version of Noxzema and try to rub it on it. It's like anti-aging properties.
What is max AP for us?
Total shared between the team is 6.
Okay. So then we ended the last combat or whatever with 7.
Then it drops.
We would have
off.
went down.
We would have lost much.
It would have ended at 6 and then dropped 1, and then you guys did a whole bunch of stuff. So you effectively started this at 6. 5 and then got 1 back. So yeah, you're at 6 currently. So Zam, you're going to give it a try with Stan.
Yeah. 1 success.
Cool. That's 3 points of healing, Stan.
Yep.
Awesome. That actually almost puts me back at full.
And you may spend another action point to just do 1 more healing.
Yep, that sounds good.
Cool.
Okay.
Now you're at full?
Yep.
Did Mortimer suffer any damage?
He spun around a lot, so he might be confused.
I don't think he actually took any real damage, though, right, Mortimer?
I think the carvers hit him once.
Oh, yeah. Did you take damage from that?
I don't remember. Actually, I did. I took 1 damage.
Okay. So would you... I assume you're also the right person to do an intelligence repair?
Myself. But don't I have...
No, it would be... Well, so... You can attempt it on yourself, but that's going to increase the difficulty from 2 to 3. I just don't remember if Zam has repair.
I have a 2 in repair.
Yeah.
Is there a way for us to assist him? Is there like a mechanic for that?
Yes, I think one of you could roll 1 die, intelligence repair, and if he succeeds, if the main character succeeds, then any successes you generate also contribute.
I do have 1 question about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have robot repair kits. Do they need the repair kits to actually do the repair?
Yeah.
Or... Okay. So if it's only 1 damage, is it worth even wasting that 1 repair kit?
Oh no! I mean, you can make the repair. Think a robot repair kit is like a stim pack for robots.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But you got the equipment to repair yourself, which is necessary. Like if you didn't have any equipment, it would be difficult because you can't repair a robot with sticks and mud. But you don't have to use the robot repair kit to get health back if you've got someone to repair you, or if you can repair yourself. It's just a difficulty 3 roll, because same with trying to first aid yourself. You can try it, but the difficulty goes up.
Yeah.
So that's going to be intelligence repair from Zam, difficulty 2, same roll from Stan. And if Zam succeeds and Stan and any successes that Stan generates will also go. What'd you get there,
Roy,
Zam?
do you have any?
I've got 1 in repair.
Okay, I got 2, so I'll try to help him.
So, I rolled terribly, but I found this hammer. So,
You're just whacking him with a hammer. So did you not generate any successes?
no.
Would you like to buy a die? I mean, you've got lots of AP. You want to buy a die or 2 dice?
It is 1 damage, and we do have this hammer. So, yeah, I'll buy 1 die.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a success.
Cool. And Stan, did you get us any successes? No. Okay, cool. Yeah, you repair him.
Oh, also, I'm gonna whisper to Royce, hey, I'm a little worried about Stan. He looks kind of gauntly, and he keeps blowing out this like weird white smoke, and I'm used to that from Mortimer, but it's a little weird. I don't know what that's from.
Yeah, he's not really human anymore. So radiation, yeah, it does bad things, and so there's a whole thing called a ghoul now, and some of them are friendly, many of them are not, and yeah, we'll see if I can hook you up with some of the academics. They can, I think they'd have a good time with you.
Okay.
You know, teaching you things and that sort of
Gotcha.
stuff, learning from each other. Yeah.
Learning. Yeah, I've got a lot to learn, I guess. This wasn't in any of the books Mortimer gave me. Find the spotted animal.
Right. Where's Wally?
He's in the center. He's always in the damn center.
Right. Cool. Or actually, I guess it would be Where's Pip Boy?
Yeah.
Cool. So, are you doing anything beyond just like crawling into this collapsed building and holding up for the night? Are you setting any traps? Are you barricading anything? Or are you just going to leave it a chance?
I feel like Dane would probably set up some type of trap, at least for where we crawled in from. Just something like maybe like cans, just something to make noise.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Just like a string of cans, kind of where we crawled in, and so that way if someone tries to crawl in, they'll just make noise.
I like that.
You see it all over Fallout.
Yeah.
Like the games.
Yeah.
By super mutants.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you scavenge the area. There are always cans somehow. And yeah, you just do. Why not? This is a thing that you've done before. So yeah, you string some cans together. That will serve as a good early warning system. The good news is you got a Mortimer with you who doesn't have to sleep and can see extremely well. Anything else? Are y'all and what are you doing? Are you all going to sleep and leaving Mortimer to take watch? Are you taking turns?
I would probably look at Mortimer and be like, do you need to sleep? Do you need to power down? Is there
No,
anything that you
we don't
need?
really power down. I'll be fine. I am pretty much self-sufficient for the next 367 days.
Oh, you should have gotten your fusion core replaced before you left if you've only got a little bit over a year, you should have gotten that replaced. You're eventually going to need another fusion core.
Yeah, but I didn't expect us to be gone that long, so
That's true.
Will be
And
fun.
interestingly, you kept asking Mildred, because she actually has control over fusion cores and ammo and all that kind of stuff. And you kept asking her, and she was like, it's not your scheduled time to have it replaced. Because ideally, you wouldn't let it get this low. The fact that she was being cagey about it, maybe you interpret that differently now that you realize the shenanigans that she was up to behind your back.
Yep.
Your mom is shady, Zam.
Oh yeah, of course she is. She's just two colors.
And she's now probably sitting in a radioactive slag pile waiting for you to come back and retrieve her so you can put her in an automaton body,
Now I'm gonna find a new vault.
which you said that you would do. Cool. All right. Well, let's see. I am curious. So who would like to give me a luck roll?
I can do that. I can buy another die.
Sure.
No successes.
Ooh. Okay. So the luck is not great.
Nope.
All right. Hey, Marty.
Mhm.
It is a little bit before dawn. A rain shower had passed through in the night. Your internal sensors detected that there was, a little bit of radiation in it, but nothing that you needed to worry too much about. Especially since Zam and the others are underneath the shelter. And after the rain shower, you heard just a chorus of peeping and cheeping and croaking as whatever amphibian wildlife seemed to respond to the shower. A couple of times you heard a really deep resonant croak, followed by some crashing, like trees being knocked down, and then eventually a really loud splash. But to your auditory sensors, you're gonna guess that was probably like half a mile away. So nothing too bad. But as the eastern horizon begins to kind of turn from black to purple to kind of pinky orange, Royce and Stan maybe have started to not wake up, but just kind of get a little shifty. And as they're in their maybe last sleep cycle, maybe they're dreaming a little bit. You are certain that you detect voices. It is a dialect you're unfamiliar with. There's a lot of, oh, geez, bud. Oh, you betcha.
Okay.
Opa. Yeah.
Obviously, as Royce is the local in this area, I will go over and wake him up.
Royce, you feel a buzzsaw tapping on the side of your face.
Thankfully, it's not spinning.
Yeah, not spinning. At least he didn't use the flamer attachment.
Yeah.
And that is a really good way of getting people to wake up quickly.
Royce, there are weird sounding people coming in some direction, and I don't know what to do because I have never heard these weird words before, like geez and oh, bud, and different formations of the words. They have this weird local colloquialism that I am not used to.
All right, shh, let me listen. So I'll try and listen and see if I can identify. Is it any of the Vikings?
Go ahead and give me a
Or
perception.
is it one success?
Cool. I mean, you can't really tell by hearing, because everyone kind of tends to talk the same way. Well, not everyone. It certainly could be. It could also just be randoms. It could be carvers. You do, however, hear one phrase: meat raffle. Oh, geez, you betcha. Gonna have a great meat raffle, eh?
No ways. That's Canada. Oh, I guess Megasota might
Megasota
have
includes
adopted.
parts of Canada now.
Yep, adopted the A's now.
Yeah.
Oh, a meat raffle. Oh, that's Royce's. Now he's curious.
Would you say now you want meat? Isn't that the purpose of this said meat raffle? For my coding, you take numbers, and if it matches your number, you win the thing. Is that how this kind of meat raffle works?
More or less. That's generally how it works. Often the smaller lots have the edible meat. The bigger meats are more questionable. But if there's a meat raffle out here, we're not that close to anything.
Should we be worried?
Always. Well, just the fact that there's people and we can hear them, Royce is gonna quietly wake up Stan and Sam and just be like, hey, we got people.
Oh, what do you mean, people? We are people.
There are other people who aren't us outside or near outside.
Are they headed this way?
I don't know.
There's windows. Gestures to windows.
Yeah, I didn't want to alarm them while you're still sleeping.
So you want to alarm them when you woke us up?
When you're awake, because if they want to take us to this meat raffle against our will, you're going to want to be awake for it.
You might become meat there, bud.
Got it. I take out my 44 pistol.
Hey, does anyone want to run out and greet your friends, or do people want to stay quiet and see if you can successfully let them pass you by?
Oh, Royce will definitely pop up and now peek his head to kind of scope them. But if he gets spotted, he will very much go out and oh, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah.
Sam would like to be quiet and keep his pip light off, as the tutorial text came at the top of the episode, I believe.
You're easily able. I mean, because you're not doing anything extraordinary. I just checked to see if they just were being super perceptive and would have seen a little bit of motion of shadow within shadow, because it's still quite dark outside. And you're able to get to a position where you can see them, and not without knocking anything over or bumping into the cans or doing anything that would attract their attention. So these the good news is they don't appear to be carvers, because although it's dim, you don't see any of the ritual scarification. They aren't 6'5" with long blonde hair, so they're probably not the Vikings. They just look like scavers. Very polite, Megasota nice folks. They are kind of gradually making their way up this old kind of pitted county road. And now that they're getting closer, you can hear a little bit of creak and thump as they are pulling a little wagon behind them. And the wagon appears to be, there's some lumps on it. Like you maybe recognize some of it. But it's like some of it's been chopped up and some of it's under tarps. So it's kind of, it looks like they're gathering stuff for the meat raffle. As you're watching one of them, you hear some sort of grunt or moan from one of the lumps under a tarp. And then one of them just like goes and takes a stick. Feisty fella, ain't he? And whacks it. You think this will be enough? Oh, I don't know. Sure hope it is. Remember last time we went to the meat raffle, we didn't have enough. We got into, it was a real pickle. Yeah. Jonesy got pickled. They put him in a jar and display and everything. As this conversation happens. What do you do?
I want to assume all of us can hear this.
Yeah, Royce is in the best position because he's actually got his head up in the window, and it certainly is the one who can see. But yeah, you hear the friendly banter of these hunters.
I mean, Roy, we might have the better position here. Just let them pass. I don't think, especially if we heard a grunt and a moan from there, that's definitely a human in there.
Yeah, lucky for you, they don't eat ghouls.
Hey, I'm delicious.
If you like super salty jerky.
I will not call out to them.
Okay.
Just kind of observe.
Can everyone give me stealth? I think it's agility stealth.
Agility sneak.
Agility sneak.
I got a 1.
Ooh.
So
I got a 20.
Oh,
I
perfect.
also got a 1.
Oh, good.
And I got 2 4s.
Are those successes or failures?
Yes.
Okay, so we've got Royce with 2 successes, Zam with 2 successes, Morty with 2 successes, and Stan with a complication. I wonder what the complication is when you're trying to be stealthy.
Maybe it's the cans that I set up.
Yeah. I think what happens is as you're all being very quiet, Stan hears a sound and kind of looks around and can't find what it is. It's like super faint because you're all like holding your breath, being very, very still. It's like a faint kind of slithering sound. And then you look up and in slow motion, you can see that the little bit of string that you had wrapped around like an exposed nail to hang one of your can contraptions is slowly sliding, slowly unraveling. And in slow-mo, we see Stan reach toward it just in time to basically catch it as the whole thing collapses down. And there's this big clattering of cans. Oh, geez, what do you think that was? Hope it wasn't a moose.
I'm just gonna hold
It's like,
still.
you're silly there. Moose don't sound like that. So yeah, you got the cans muffled now, but it was a bit of a commotion, and one of the gentlemen is going to, oh, wait here while I go check it out, and is going to come over in your general direction. What do you do?
Knowing that it's a meat raffle and what Roy said about me being a ghoul and them not wanting to eat me, I'm just gonna kind of slide out from underneath where we crawled in from just to kind of, it's just me. I'm just the ghoul.
Okay, so you come. So this ghoul comes crawling out of the wreckage of this thing to predictable results. Oh, geez, it's one of them ferals. And the other guy back by the cart is gonna immediately like put the cart between himself and you. And then this one is gonna like start like digging around trying to pull the rifle off of his shoulder.
Mm-hmm. But whoa. I'm not one of those ferals.
Oh, geez, bud. You nearly gave me a heart attack. What are you doing living in there in that rubble if you're not one of them ferals?
Because people don't like our kind. In general.
Oh, we like ghouls just fine, don't we?
I'm gonna hop out the window.
Oh, geez.
Oh, hey. Morning to you.
Well, there's just a whole bunch of you there in that rubble pile, isn't it?
It's a big pile.
Yeah, there's probably about 7 more of us in there.
All right. Hey, would you give me a speech test?
Yeah. That is 2 successes.
Oh, cool. It's like, well, that's a whole lot of y'all. What you doing out here?
Just making our way through.
You gonna check out the meat raffle?
Oh, where's it at?
Oh, it's a little camp outside Hinkytown.
Oh yeah. We're making our way there eventually. Yeah, we can stop by the meat raffle.
Oh, well, it's gonna happen real soon. We gotta get that way ourselves. Hopefully we got enough stuff.
What type of meat do you get?
Oh, all kinds. You know, the typical thing. Bits of this, chunks of that.
Right.
Anything too slow or too stupid.
Yeah, that's always the case, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you want to survive, and you don't go after the big stuff. So where y'all headed? Y'all headed to Hinkytown?
Yeah, we're moving that way.
Oh, you want to come along?
We'll probably catch up with you. We're some of the guys are still sleeping in there, so.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll be real quiet. Wouldn't want to wake them all up, would we?
Yeah. But yeah, you go ahead and go on a little bit before us, and we'll, like I said, we'll catch up. We'll meet you at the meat market or the meat raffle.
Yeah. Well, you'll know where it is. Just follow the smell.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll see you later. As they kind of, I think Royce is, for a survivor, relatively well fed, right? Because you're pretty successful and you've got powerful friends. And they kind of. I mean, they're being real Megasota nice, but maybe you get a little hint in the "we'll see you later" as like, there might be some good eating on that. And contrary to your belief, sometimes ghoul meat does show up in the meat raffle. You never know. So yeah, they'll just one will the one you're talking to will go back to his friend, who will then pop up and go, "Oh, hey there," and then they'll kind of like keeping their eyes on you, turn their heads toward each other, and kind of whisper back and forth, and then yeah, alrighty, we'll be on our way. Good to see ya.
Take care now.
And then they slowly trundle off. See, not everyone in the wasteland is an enemy.
Yet.
Exactly. Yep.
I don't trust him, but I feel like we could also take him.
Yeah, it's better just to lie about the numbers that we have. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's 4v2, but say there's 7 of us in there. You're gonna think twice about starting something.
It's true. No, it's fine. I won't do that yet. Cool. So the day is yours.
So we're not going to go to that meat raffle, right? That
No.
doesn't seem like a very good idea.
If it's at or pretty much to Hinkytown, we're gonna still at least go that direction.
Okay. Because that one, and he's going to point at Zam, that one's going to be worth a penny.
A super shiny stack of caps.
Yeah. But I think the caps are even better if we can get him down to the U.
Oh, yeah.
You know, those academia friends. After we go to the zoo, we'll swing by up there, and you guys can swap those learning stories.
Cool. Are you sticking to the road?
How much slower would the overland travel be?
Well, so probably about the same. I mean, you would if you're trying to stay behind the hunters, so you don't wind up overtaking them and having to talk to them again. You're gonna have to take a little bit of a leisurely pace because that's about as fast as they were going. But it'll be, I mean, aside from having to walk around potholes and washouts and stuff, it'll be relatively easy travel versus overland. It's going to be, you can go at your best pace, but it's going to be much harder slog. So it kind of from a timing perspective probably doesn't matter.
I'm gonna suggest then we still take the road, but we just go slower, and don't overtake the hunters because might be faster cross country, but there's plenty of other things out there.
Cool. Yeah. You, I think super leisurely. It's another relatively pleasant day. That little shower overnight just kind of put a little bit of a sheen on things, kind of knock the dust off of stuff. If you didn't know any better, you could be walking down kind of an overgrown country road pre-bomb. I mean, there's obviously like everything's a little bit wilted and strange, but it seems for the wasteland at least relatively idyllic. I think your day passes without issue. You are you figure you could press on and get to, I'm playing fast and loose with distances here, but you figure you could probably press on and maybe make it to the outskirts of Hinkytown sometime like late tonight. Or you could camp. I think, Royce, you probably know, like the guys, the hunters were like very clear that the meat raffle's happening technically outside Hinkytown. Hinkytown is a pretty libertarian place, or libertine kind of place, but there's still some rules, and that particular kind of meat raffle not so much legal. So if you are near a settlement but outside the part that's patrolled, it can actually be more dangerous than being further away because settlements tend to attract not so great people in larger numbers than just the wilderness.
Yeah, I think we should press on, even if it means overtaking the hunters towards dusk to kind of get by and get actually to Hinkytown. Get past the meat raffle.
Cool.
Sounds good to me.
All right. I would like some sort of rolls just to see whether things go your way. So what kind of skills do you think would be appropriate?
I'm gonna roll luck.
Okay. Stan, Mortimer, Zam, choose what you think is going to make the most sense.
1 lucky success.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll perception.
Or survival. Just in general, just to kind of avoid maybe like radiation and some other hazardous things on the way there.
Sure.
That's what I was thinking too. Survival.
Sure.
One
And-
success.
And how about Morty?
1 success.
Cool. Cool, yeah. So you close the distance without any incident. And with those successes, I'm going to say that you make really good time. And don't run afoul of anyone or anything that you wish to avoid. And maybe take a little bit longer just to kind of skirt around to the main gates, like the main south gates into Hinkytown, just because that's a more patrolled area. That's technically, it's very close to the North Road. So it's going to be a little bit less trudging through the dregs to get into the settlement proper. So yeah, you rock up to Hinkytown, we'll say a little bit before midnight. The big gates are closed. So like shipments and things like that aren't going through. But there's little smaller, like little portal gates to let people, sally ports to let people go in and out. They are guarded. And it is there in this case, there are 2 guards. One is dressed in M&G fatigues and is carrying a laser rifle. What? Ooh, fancy. The other is, well, I mean, it probably was like a nice suit at some point, but it's been all patched and like the lower part, like was obviously out at the knees, so they just ripped it off and have just kind of taken the tops of various different colorful striped tube socks to make kind of like leggings that go underneath these suit pant cutoff shorts, mismatched boots, and a big motorcycle helmet with the visor ripped off, with a bunch of like stickers, and like there's like a My Little Pony doll glued onto the top of it. It's let's just say a stark contrast. Very serious military type, and whatever that is going on. As you meander in out of the darkness, the M&G guard, she steps forward and says, "Stop, halt, state your business."
Looking for a place to stay the night.
She kind of eyes you all suspiciously. She sees Zam waving and kind of looks askance at that. The person with the decorated helmet kind of goes, waves back. And this is the place that you want to stay?
Yep.
Are you entering with any illicit substances? And do you plan to exit with any illicit substances?
No and no, ma'am.
Cool, give me a speech test. Because that is technically not true.
I am gonna buy a die. Do we have?
Oh, yeah.
Six.
We lost.
We
one from
would
this
have
each day?
5 because we have changed scenes.
All right. Then I'm gonna buy 2 die.
Cool.
I got 1 critical success, no failures.
So a total of 2 successes.
Yep.
Cool. That is
So we're
sufficient.
down 1.
Yeah. That is sufficient. She is not. She doesn't like the look of you guys. You're coming up the north road, but clearly not. You're clearly not merchants. You're clearly not MNG. So it's just a little off to her. You look like you belong in the outskirts where the meat raffle is happening, frankly. And
Yeah.
Zam
why we're
probably
not
still
up there.
smells like whiskey after having been doused. But your polite and businesslike demeanor is sufficient. And so she kind of steps aside and gestures towards the heliport. And you begin to enter. The person in the helmet, however, steps forward. I think if you're going in order, Royce goes in, but as Zam starts to go in, the person steps forward and kind of invades your space, Zam. Of course, you don't remember being around any other living creature, organic living creature, since your father died when you were a child. So it's probably a little bit disturbing to have this person get so close, kind of intimate with you. And you can't really see in the darkness what they've got going on underneath their helmet. But a kind of soft voice comes out. Hey there, Blue. We haven't seen many of you around in a long time. What hole did you crawl out of?
Blue?
Oh, for the suit. The vault suit.
Oh, I found this.
Oh, really? You found a completely intact vault suit? Where?
Yep.
In a vault?
Yep.
Oh, where is that?
Oh, it's
If Royce overhears this, he's gonna step in and basically grab Zam and say, "Sorry, we're in much need of some rest tonight."
Sam's just gonna look at Royce. What's the harm in telling them? It's flooded with radiation. They can't do shit. They're just gonna die. That's their fault.
They also can't get in because they don't have a pit bully. There's also that too.
They can't do
You're just having
anything.
this conversation. Oh, there's all kinds of ways into vaults. Laser cutters, high explosives, air shafts, crawling through the
What's
water
information
pipes.
worth to you?
Oh, you want to trade for the information?
Maybe.
Yes.
Huh. Well, I could give you free passes to Hinkytown after dark.
No.
That
Oh,
doesn't spend.
can I suggest something?
Sure.
Do you have any helmets?
Yeah? You want a
We could
helmet?
we could use some helmets, yes, and
I could
ammo.
make you a helmet. I could make you a special helmet. A lucky helmet.
Don't need a lucky helmet.
No, you really do. Or someone's going to blow your pretty head off and scatter your brains all over the dust, and then the secret of where that vault is will die with you, and that would be a shame, wouldn't it? You need a lucky helmet to protect that brain and all the knowledge inside it.
Just gonna slightly look at Mortimer.
I think everyone's kind of, I mean, Mr. Handy's and Nurse Miss Danny, you know what I'm saying? are not entirely uncommon, especially down near the cities. A lot of them have been recommissioned, and I think, Royce, you know that it's civilized enough that there are some relatively new ones that have been made. So it's not that unusual.
And Mortimer had a recent repair to him, so he's not like totally shiny and new.
Yeah, and he was covered in gunk and stuff.
I was more or less looking at Mortimer because this person's talking really weird to me, and Mortimer's overbearing. So maybe he wants to rev up the buzzsaw and step in here.
Why would I want to do that? I'm letting you explore the world, but also, if something happens, I can try to protect you.
Yeah.
You are a big boy now.
You're talking about blowing off my head, and you're just calm about that. But I open a door, and bugs fly out, and you freak out. Got it. Sure.
Oh, I wasn't threatening your friend, Mr. Robot. I was just sharing an observation about how the world works. People who walk around without helmets get their heads splattered open a lot.
People who walk around with big mouths tend to get fists put in them.
Yeah, that's true too. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Tell you what, come by my shop. Tomorrow evening, and pick up your helmet, and then I'll trade it for the location of your vault.
Helmets, plural.
This
One for all of us.
I can't make helmets for everyone.
Well,
And
then we
he's the
can't
only
give you
one
any
that has
information.
he's the only one that has the information. He's the valuable one.
I guess.
All right, maybe we'll see you tomorrow.
I hope you do. As this person gets closer, it's still difficult because there's a mouthpiece, so the voice is a little bit attenuated. You can't really tell much about them. You can tell, however, as like there's a little bit of a fizzing street light, or some of those like shop lights that are shining down in the entrance. So there's enough light that you can see their pupils are like this. They are clearly affected. But they seem to be remarkably lucid for all that, and they definitely have marked you. All right, then. Have fun. See you later, Blue.
Bye, weirdo.
How'd you know my name?
And we'll walk. I'm sure we walk by, Weirdo's Helmet Emporium on the way to
Sure. Absolutely,
the
why not?
hotel.
Yeah, there's a
Weirdo.
there's a big like someone has taken a mannequin, like a store mannequin, or a set of store mannequins, and has all these like, it's like Etsy on acid, handcrafted like puka beads and feathers and metal spikes, and some of them have lights that light up. But there's definitely, whoever this is has definitely either themselves or hired people to scour the wasteland for everything My Little Pony related, because there's definitely a consistent theme. There's even a helmet that has the front part of a like a carousel horse. And then the mane has been made with multicolored wire. And then the face has been painted up with like big girly eyelashes and big bright cheeks. So it looks like a life-sized My Little Pony head. Hearts and butterfly stickers on it. Yeah, it's great. All right. So what are you doing in Hinkytown? It's late, but this is the little settlement that never sleeps.
I would say Sting would probably go to a vendor and sell all this, or at least most of the vault food and water that he got.
Okay.
Just for cats.
Okay. So as you're coming from the south entrance, you are kind of working away. You can see off to your right. Like it's actually relatively dark. There's just like spots of light where there's obviously activity. The first one you see is off to your right. There's a sign that says cinema.
Okay.
And then as you approach what was at one time a highway interchange, there are a series of vendor shops, but mostly like food. There's like a little clinic. Most of those, however, are closed for the evening. There's a big illuminated sign with several of the bulbs burned out that points to Hinkytown Lodge, which goes to the west. And Royce, that's the casino. That's where Hinkytown After Dark happens. It is a den of debauchery at 10 a.m. and then starts to get real weird at about 10 p.m. The settlement of Hinky, or Hinkley as it was once known, is more or less the opposite direction to the west. You probably know that there are some quote unquote upscale shops. It's where the mayor is. It's where local security is. It's where the kind of local barracks for the M&G settlement. They are restricted from interfering with the lodge, which is the primary income source. But if you didn't know about the lodge, you would go into Hinkytown proper and think it was just a relatively nice settlement, except for the high incidence of people being obviously hungover from whatever excesses and debauchery that they took part in the night before. So which direction you going? You know that you can find lodging near the lodge cheaper, but it's near the lodge.
I'm gonna look at Roy and be like, where's probably the best place to sell this food and water that we got?
Hinkytown is going to be asleep for the most part. The lodge won't be.
Do you think maybe we should just sell it in the morning when we get up to the proper vendors?
Especially since Baby Boy Blue over here has already been marked once. Yeah, he's be like hanging up fresh deer carcass at the meat raffle. Or what is it? Rad Stag?
Red Stag, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we should probably find somewhere to lodge for the night. I would assume the lodge would be a great place to go get somewhere to sleep, right?
Not a lot of sleep happenings in the rooms at the lodge. If you want sleep, let's go to the quiet part of town.
Okay, well then you lead the way there, bud.
And then also, when out of earshot of the MNG, tell Stan all the illegals that they're generally looking for that we're probably hiding between us, but it's like, yeah, keep those stashed. Liquor, but
yeah, as long as you're not shipping it in. But there is a policy that you're not allowed to bring. You're not allowed to bring chems in because you're supposed to buy them here over at the lodge. But the M&G doesn't also want you bringing it out of Hinkytown,
right?
Because they don't want people who are freaked out on Jet roaming the North Road.
Zam is going to listen in on this conversation and ask, "What do you mean by chems?"
When we get a room, I'll show you what the chems do.
Here, it's an inhaler. Just see what happens. Zam becomes hopelessly addicted immediately. It's fine. Okay, cool. So you're gonna walk over the kind of the last sign of the debauchery. You pass, I think, what is you will remember Royce as probably being the most upscale brothel. It's called the White Castle. And make your way along the road to the west to Evergreen Terrace, which is a set of shacks that have been built in what was at one time a park. The original town was not particularly large. Like there are no like big skyscrapers falling down or any of that. It was a reasonably small. Think of it like equivalent of like Jamaica Plain from the video game. So certainly not really a suburb, but maybe an exurb of the broader metropolis to the south. It's probably 10 blocks wide and about 6 blocks high or tall, the town itself. And Evergreen Terrace sits on kind of the southern edge of Hinkytown proper. But yeah, there's relatively cheap lodging. There's you kind of step up to the gate, there's a flickering neon sign. And you kind of have to knock a couple of times, and then some kind of piebald or splotchy bald guy of indeterminate age and indeterminate number of teeth will kind of just a second, I'll come in, just wafting probably moonshine in front of them. It's just a cloud kind of looking at you blearily. What time is it? What do you want? We're not hiring. The last person we hired stole a bunch of stuff from one of our valued guests. Had to kick him out. So we're not gonna fill that vacancy.
I'm just gonna pull out like the bag of caps and just be like, room.
He'll go to grab your whole bag of caps.
Well, I just kind of jingle it like in front of him.
Okay. Okay. For you folks, 5 caps tonight. Each. And that counts the robot.
I'll try and barter him down.
You should, because it's highway robbery.
Yeah.
Give me a speech test. And do you have any special skills that have to do with bartering?
I have the bartering skill.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You got the scoundrel. I think the survivor.
So if I'm trying to lie to him, I get some bonuses.
Yeah.
But I got a 6 fast. So if I get under, is it under the rank or under the rank and skill? It's a critical success.
Is it a tag skill for you? Speech?
Yes.
So that just means that if you get your rank or under,
It's critical.
it's a critical. So like if you got a 3 in speech, that means a 3 or below is a critical.
Right. Okay. Just 1 success then.
Okay. All right. 5 caps for the lot of you, but you got to stay in one room. It's not the best price, but it's reasonable.
Yeah, that's doable.
For this side of town.
I'll just pay for it.
Cool.
Give them the caps.
Deduct them caps. And of course, and remember, I mean, caps are what people want, but they will take goods in exchange. Like most merchants, you could pull out some of the actual whiskey if you wanted to, but you probably will get a better exchange actually selling that directly to a merchant who will then sell it on. So cool. You pay your 5 caps. Bungalow 7. He'll hand out an old key with some sort of like a faded palm tree keychain attached to it. And then you kind of squelch through the park is a little bit marshy. They've just laid old pallets over the ground, and then over time those have kind of gotten beaten down and sunk into the mud. So it's not really super effective at keeping you from squelching through the mud. But you make your way to Bungalow 7. It is it's ratty. It's not in great shape. Like the windows are just like tarp and old pieces of like ratty curtains like nailed over holes just to provide a little bit of ventilation. But you know, for what it is, it's okay. It's dry. There are some just there's I think probably 2 mattresses on the ground, and then you've got your bedrolls and stuff. So, what happens?
Well, this place looks worse than that other place we were at.
It smells
bad.
worse. It smells worse because there's been people in it. Unlike that ruined gas station.
Gas station was nicer.
Well, Roy, you get a mattress if you want it. Since you paid for the room there, bud. And
Alrighty, time to hit the sack. We can unload the goods and see the town tomorrow. And if we want to see what the lodge has to offer, we can venture that side. Otherwise, we'll hit the road again.
and Sam, you can take the other mattress, break you in a little slower to the wasteland here.
All right, sounds good to me.
Also,
Mortimer,
like Stan
watch
is
the
the
door.
smart one and knows better than to get on one of those mattresses. Who knows? Like, oh, do not break out the luminol in this place. It's a nightmare. But that's fine. You'll get used to it. Your immune system will adapt. So yeah, I mean, you're in a relatively safe place. I mean, aside from like a massive raider incursion or someone breaking in and trying to steal your stuff, you're probably fine. I won't make you roll for it. You have a fitful night sleep because every hour or so there'll just be another wave of revelers coming back from the lodge, hooting and hollering and making a big ruckus. Someone is noisily sick outside your bungalow at about 4 a.m., enough to kind of wake everyone up. So it's not the most restful night, but you are not disturbed beyond that. And then, yes, as soon as the cock crows, and there are chickens here in town, so you do hear, starting at about 5 a.m., chickens crowing. You hear a few people yelling at the chickens for crowing. You hear, Morty, who doesn't sleep, hears a kind of tinny whistling, obviously synthesized, and maybe peeks an eye stalk out one of the windows to see a modified Protectron kind of clomping up the street, pushing a broom, whistling to itself. It clearly is not in good repair or has not been programmed expertly, because mostly what it's just doing is just like pushing the trash around. But it seems to be happy because it's whistling to itself. A can flies out of an upper window in one of the larger bungalows and clanks off of its head, trying to get it to stop whistling. It doesn't stop. And it's dawn. What do you do?
How'd you sleep, Zam?
Terribly.
Yeah,
I hate this place.
beautiful. What are you talking about?
And half the time, it's going to be worse.
Oh, good. What was that weird animal sound?
Animal sound.
I heard an animal in the night.
It is
You mean-
called a crow. They make noise when the sun comes up every day.
That's called a magpie. People milk them for eggs. Morty knows so much about the natural world.
I feel like Mortimer's making his own role play inside his.
Right.
He's like, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna roll. It's a crow. Tell him that.
I would assume that the shops are open at this point. I mean,
Yeah, by the time you wake up and you're just kind of stirring and you hear something slide under your door. A little slip of
Right.
paper.
Oh, I thought you meant like a rad roach. I was like, that doesn't fit under
No.
a door.
yeah, I want to walk over and grab the piece of paper, bring it
That's
over to everybody.
Except the doors that Stan's used to.
The slip of paper is it's very faded. Someone here has some sort of like printing machine because it clearly was mechanically printed. Management of Evergreen Terrace thanks you for your stay. Checkout is now. Breakfast is not provided. Come again.
Just crumple up the paper, throw it at the corner.
As you do, you see that there's a stack of similar papers that are just moldering in the corner, starting to grow mushrooms. So yeah, don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
Can't
Alright,
go home
guys.
either. Well,
Not
Stan
breakfast.
can go back to my home, but that's about it. Stan and Mortimer will be fine.
I would say get up and start wandering the street, trying to find a vendor to sell some of these goods, get them offloaded off of us, just to get caps or equipment that we need at this point.
Sounds good. Trudge behind Stan.
Cool. Well, the first thing that you notice as you step out is, I mean, it looked last night as you were coming in, but in the daylight, I don't know. It seems there's some areas where obviously, due to the collapse of civilization, there was damage. There are obviously some buildings that were burnt down that were replaced with kind of more ramshackle constructions. But it seems fairly, if you don't look too close, it seems fairly idyllic, like a little small town. You see a number of folks who are dressed reasonably well, kind of just starting to make their way about town, like maybe going from their home to wherever it is that they work. It seems a little bit, at least to Zam, it seems like a slightly twisted version of some of the historical holotapes that you had seen before about life before the bomb. And yeah, there's a number of shops and stores. I think, Royce, you probably haven't spent a lot of time on this side of town, but you have a general layout in your head. You know that at the kind of opposite end of this kind of main north-south street is the mayor's mansion. And the mayor title here is one that's kind of hereditary. I mean, it kind of sticks within one or two influential families in town. They don't have a whole lot of power, except that they do basically run a protection racket. They kind of serve as a de facto local authority to keep the MNG out of all the illicit dealings. And then they charge a fee to all the legitimate merchants, ostensibly to keep the dam running. The dam, which is kind of to the north and west a bit of the town proper, is both provides reliable, only slightly radioactive drinking water, and also is a source of power in town. And since the mayor and or their family control the dam, they control the power and therefore have parlayed that into multi-generational political power. The current mayor, as far as you know, is kind of ineffectual, which is good. They're not trying to change anything or rock any boats. They're just going about collecting a big pile of caps for themselves and their family and seeing to it that nothing disrupts the good thing that they've got going. Yeah, there is one of the most prominent storefronts here on Main Street of Hinkytown is the Izzy shop.
Let's go in there.
It does not ring a bell to Stan, because Stan is from the East Coast. But Izzy is to Megasota what Nuka Cola is to the Commonwealth, and Vim is to Far Harbor.
Okay.
Try Izzy's new Mute Fruit Cooler. Or whatever. Tarberry treats. Yeah. It has a big plastic bottle with Izzy printed on the side on the roof. The storefront is glassed in with actual glass. Only a few cracks in it. Not particularly dusty. Yeah,
Okay.
You head in. You can certainly buy some Izzy if you'd like.
Maybe. Might try a little bit of it. I'm gonna just go up to the counter if there's no one there. If there's anybody.
As soon as you step in, a young woman behind the counter kind of looks up at you and kind of does a double take because ghoul, and then plasters a big fake smile at her. Welcome. Is this your first time at the Izzy shop?
Bet it is.
Okay, well, unfortunately, there's no free samples, so you've got to pay. You can pay, can't you?
I'm here to kind of sell some goods.
Ooh, here to sell Izzy to an Izzy shop?
Maybe I'm in the wrong shop.
Maybe. What is it you have to sell?
Well, I have recently come across some vault food and water. So nice purified water, some nice purified non-radiated food.
Well, how much?
Well, I am looking for some equipment and caps, obviously.
Well, I don't think I can help you with the equipment unless you need juicers and a cap press and all that stuff.
No, don't need any of that.
But I can probably help you with the caps. Are these your friends?
Yeah, I guess you can call them that.
Oh. And then she sees Zam's vault suit. So are you like his... Because he's from a vault, right?
Yeah, sort of. I guess you can kind of say that.
How are you sort of...
He found the suit from a vault, so...
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, good job keeping it a secret. I won't pry too much. You might look into, I don't know, changing into normal clothes because you're going to cut quite a figure walking around town in a vault suit. So you might just like change back to your regular clothes there, friend.
I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all comfy. I might even throw in...
It is really comfy.
I might even throw in some extra caps for the suit. It looks like it's in really good shape. I don't know, although it smells kind of like whiskey and bug guts. But that'll wash right out. Yeah. Well, what do you got there?
He'll kind of walk up to the counter and just kind of set his bag down and just kind of be like, he won't pull all of it out. He'll just pull maybe like a quarter of it out, just kind of like a sampler of what he has. Be like, yeah, so I got some purified water. I got some type of juice. I don't really know what this is. I got some fresh vegetables. I don't really know what this is. It kind of looks like one of those, I don't know what the tomatoes are called out in the
Tato.
wasteland. Tato. Kind of looks like a Tato, but it's nice and bright and red instead of that weird brown that we have. And then kind of pulls out some, canned tuna or
Yeah.
some, canned stuff, and kind of goes, well, here's kind of a sample of what I have.
She will just like respectfully, but immediately just eyes wide, go in and just start going, purified water, canned tuna, no thank you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then get down to like canned peaches. And
Yes.
she sets that over here. She opens up the juice canister and smells it and just kind of like, it's you can tell it's like all she can do not to take a sip of it, but she just like starts treating it like treasure. She separates out the pile. She's not interested in any of like the canned meats or any of the dry stuff, but she's very interested in any of the canned fruits or vegetables, and certainly any of the fresh stuff. Like she takes a look at one of the tomatoes that you have, and it's just, do you realize what you have here?
Sort of.
My grandpa remembers a time when an actual unmutated Tato came through town. They tried really, really hard to propagate it, but it didn't work. But with our purification and distillery here, it might just work this time. I mean, science has come on a long way in like 30 years. This could be a game changer. I will give you 200 caps.
Make it 350.
I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, I could go to the next store down.
The next store, first of all, the next store down is not going to be, they're going to want all this stuff just to eat it.
Well,
They'll just buy it and go, oh, this is actual orange juice. Oh, that's great. I'll just drink it. And then it'll be gone. We're the right people to know what to do with this. So I would hate to see it go to waste. So 275.
Throw in 3 bottles of Nuka-Cola or whatever it is.
Izzy.
Throw in 3 bottles of Izzy, of your finest Izzy, and we'll have a deal.
I'll give you a case, a sampler case, if you also throw in the vault suit. And I'll loan you some Izzy overalls.
Vault suit's not mine to give up. So you're gonna have to talk to that guy.
Well, hi, that guy. How do you feel about
Hello.
walking around town with a bullseye on your back because you're foolish enough to walk around town with a vault suit? People are gonna be thinking you're a vault dweller.
That is a fair point. We are going to need some more armor. I mean, you were right. I could change it into my other clothes, but I need armor when we leave, so we are going to need the caps before I give you the vault suit.
You don't need armor here in town.
No, but, when we leave, I want to have everything set before we go.
Okay, I tell you what. I'll loan you some Izzy overalls, and I'll write a note for Tom the tailor.
I will lean over to Rith and Stan. What the hell is Tom the tailor?
Probably the guy who runs the tailor shop.
What the hell's a tailor shop?
Place that you get clothes made.
That's not armor, though, is it?
Tom, you're standing right there in front of her. So she'll be, No, he makes all kinds of stuff. He's the best place to go. He doesn't see just anybody. At least not if you're not somebody here in town. Not everyone can just walk around with random pieces of rusty metal strapped on. He makes the best stuff. And if I write him a note, he will give you a good deal. And I tell you what, if he doesn't, then you can come back and give me my overalls and I'll give you your vault suit back. But seriously, you should not be walking around with that when you're in town.
All right. I suppose that's a deal.
All right, you can go change back there in the employee washroom.
Cool. I'll go in this disgusting washroom and get changed.
It's okay.
It's
I mean,
compared to Zam, it's not.
right. I mean, there is plumbing here in the central part of Hinkytown. It's maybe not what you would call up to code, but there's electricity and plumbing. So, yeah, you can even splash some water on your face. It only faintly glows. And yeah, so you'll change into, they're kind of like an off-white denim overall, with a big, Izzy soda bottle on the front.
Right.
Yeah. And then she'll take the vault suit. So I'll just put it here where it's safe. Sticks it in a little drawer. Oh, here. And here's a note for Tom.
Yeah. So I have a note from Tom.
Yeah.
And I put all of my stuff in these overalls while I'm wearing a Pip-Boy.
Well, pull the sleeve down.
It's not really how overalls work, but okay.
Well, there's a shirt. I don't know.
Like picturing overalls, like there is no.
So it's an overall outfit. There's a work shirt.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Overalls. Yeah, so you can, but it'll be obvious if anyone looks really close at you that you got something bulky underneath the sleeve, but you can cover it up.
Yeah.
Great. So 250, right? We agreed on.
And the
275.
Oh, well, I guess my memory. So I'll be back in a second. She comes back with a like a shoebox and hands it to you.
I'm gonna slide that over to Zam, since he's the one that gave up his vault suit for it.
Well, I mean, you can count it if you want, but it's all there.
I think Dan is probably gonna just kind of finger through it and just kind of do like a rough count, not so much like a pour it out on the counter and like count it out, but he's gonna kind of yeah, kind of looks like it's all there.
It looks like it is.
Yeah.
And she didn't seem to be the type that would scam you over a couple of caps, like 10 caps here or there. So just based on the heft of it, it seems right. And in fact, it is.
I scanned the box, and there's exactly 275 cats in the
Right.
box.
Just the 3 ice talks come in and the little hands whir through it, stacking them all perfectly.
Say no one's gonna scam Stan likely.
Yeah, no, we've learned that Morty is Rain Man. Good job. Cool. So you now have, I mean, maybe not it's the most caps Zam has ever seen because he's unfamiliar with how currency works. But Royce, this was a pretty big haul. I think you probably also realize it's maybe not your biggest job, but you also realize that, you know, that was just a quick grab. Like you didn't have a chance to loot. Like you probably got a tiny fraction. You didn't get to explore the whole thing. You literally just hit the commissary and grabbed what you could carry. That seemed interesting.
So we still had empty bags too. We didn't completely fill up because we were going to go to the med lab.
Yeah. And you still have a fair amount of the stuff that she didn't want. So it's a question as to whether you keep that or try to sell it on to someone else.
Honestly, I just split what we had in half. So I had 20, so I just made it 10.
Okay.
On my sheet. So.
Okay, cool. All right. So,
Let's go get Zam his armor that he needs, so that way he can be a little bit more protected. Maybe get us some helmets.
cool. Well,
Everybody?
you can. There are some handy directories, kind of plastered, so like printed on paper and then probably wheat plastered to the brick walls. So without having to hunt around too much, you do find down a side street, and what was at one time probably a really nice Victorian home. Now, obviously, apocalypse, it's dilapidated. But there's even some only faintly mutated flowers out front. So it stands out as being well kept. You go up and ring the door, and there's a sign, Tom Taylor. You go up and pull the little handle where it says to pull it. You hear chiming in, and a very large man. Like, he's maybe 6 feet tall, but he's probably also 6 feet wide. Like just a little bit of a sheen of sweat, kind of balding with a very elaborate comb over, but dressed just impeccably. He is in a red velvet smoking jacket with black satin piping. He's got like what you think are probably silk trousers on, or at least it looks like silk. He's got little slippers on. He kind of comes and opens the door and, well, what can I do for you? I don't recognize any of you. I hope you have a good reason for disturbing me at my work. Oh, well, hi there. Aren't you friendly?
Oh, I show him the note.
He said, I don't really do retail business, and sees the note. Oh. Did you read the note beforehand?
Of course.
Did you really read it beforehand?
No.
Okay. So he opens up and goes, oh. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, come right in. Would anyone like any tea? And just the one,
Sure.
just the one outfit, right?
Yep.
All right.
Well, we are here to get some additional equipment for me.
I said I don't really do a retail business. It's by recommendation only, and only one of you has a recommendation.
I recommend them.
That doesn't count, honey.
Damn it.
Go
well,
ahead, bud.
You two can go and make friends with my friends, and then maybe if they send a recommendation, I'll take a look at you. But for now, we're here for your fascinating blue suit. Well, you know, our friend from out of town. Well, let's see. You look like a what? 42 long? I'm not sure those words mean anything to you, Zam. You're a size
nothing.
You're a size 6A in the standard Syntech vault suit. Well, hold on, just let me get my tape. And he will he's very light on his feet. He's obviously very nimble. He moves almost like a dancer, even though he is a lot of person. Comes back and whips out this tape and then just does some really quick measurements, jots them down on a little pad. Oh, I think with cutting down a little bit, I assume that you're in a bit of a rush. The new ones always are.
Tad, but not too much.
Well, I'm obviously not going to rush to the point that I harm the craftsmanship. I just meant that you don't have weeks to wait for something completely bespoke. Well, I think I've got some pieces that I could cut down. You're a little bit broader here and a little bit slenderer here than you've got. He kind of pinches on you. Got some fairly fine muscle tone for, well, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? Seems like you've led a charmed life thus far. And let's see how much longer we can extend that life. Do you have any preferences for color or pattern?
So initially, Sam's going to think blue,
Blue.
but then knows that's the wrong answer.
You should go blue. Thinking, oh,
Maybe a green.
green. So like a dusky green so you can blend in with the surroundings, or a bright and flashy green so that people can admire the quality of your...
Dusky.
Oh, that's a shame. All right, so more of a taupe. Well, I suppose I can make that happen. I'll have to redo some of the outer lining. All right, well, let's see. I think I can get by with that piece, and then that came back when that person was killed. Don't worry, I've gotten the blood and other things out of it. Well, for 100 caps, I can put in a rush job.
How long is the rush job?
Oh, I could have it ready by this evening. I'm using all existing pieces.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. He looks very pleased.
Wow.
Well, 100 caps is a lot of caps. Just put them in the tray.
Right. So we'll put 100 in the tray.
Sure. Cool. Well, he has your measurements. He probably asked you a few other questions. Do you plan to go brown belt in shoes or black belt in shoes? Don't tell me you plan to mix and match. I won't have it.
Sorry, what was that?
Belt, shoes, brown or black?
Black.
All right. I can do that. And I assume you'll be wanting a tie that matches. I'll throw that in for free.
And this is gonna protect me in some form, right?
Well, it'll protect you in many forms. It'll protect you from people thinking you're some sort of rube from the wasteland. It will protect you from anyone who would mistake you for anything less than a high quality person. And suffice it to say that we live in dangerous times, and I tend to use certain materials that can help to protect your precious insides from becoming all over your outsides.
Okay.
I'm not doing any radiation protection. That takes a long time and is very expensive.
Uh-huh. That's
Any
fine.
more questions?
Not
Oh,
really.
Oh, you strike me as somewhat conservative, but could I tempt you with a paisley?
With a what now?
A paisley.
Is that a horse?
I mean, maybe. It does sound like something that a little girl would name her a pony, but no, it's a pattern. You'll just be surprised. You'll love
Yeah,
it.
just surprise me.
All right. Good. Well, this evening, right around sundown, should be sufficient. I don't have anything else on today.
Sure.
All right. Well, we'll go away then. I have work to do.
Okay. But I guess we'll leave for now.
So you leave. Does Royce mention that he just got fleeced?
Nah. He'll
Okay.
just chuckle out at himself.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't. I would say you don't know for sure what he's getting, but you certainly know that you don't ever accept the first price someone offers. So the fact that Zam didn't barter means you probably are paying more than you ought to, but you're also getting a really super astounding discount. So it all comes out in the wash. Great. Well, the town is yours. You have an appointment later this evening. It's still mid-morning.
I think for all of Stan's work in helping Zam get possibly a better suit, maybe. We don't know yet, but for the time being, Zam is very appreciative and will give Stan his Kale Max.
His which?
My chem. One of the chems I have. I have
Oh.
Calmax.
Oh, Calmex.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So, Stan, you now have a dose of Calmex, which I'm not even sure. Does that work? I guess it kind of works on you.
I need two
You
doses.
just need two
of it.
doses
Yeah.
of anything to have it work. So here's a dose that will do nothing to you.
I mean, he could sell it.
It's true.
Good.
It's true.
Apparently, Royce and Stan know what those are worth, so Sam doesn't.
Cool.
I'm gonna go ahead and actually go to like an armor shop and try to get like a helmet.
Well, you know where they make helmets.
Yeah, not that type of helmet.
Cool. Yeah, you'll look around. There's not a kind of wasteland style armor shop on this side of town. Everything here is a little bit upscale. But kind of back over by the White Castle, there
General
is
goods.
there's an arms and armor vendor.
I'll just go in there and just buy a helmet.
Sure. Just like a hard hat. A hard hat you can get pretty cheap.
Yeah, I would probably say a hard hat or like a motorcycle helmet, something that just kind of just protects the top side of the dome.
Yeah, you mentioned the vendor motorcycle helmet, and they'll say we don't get to sell those. Anyone that comes in, I'm supposed to direct them over to weirdos because it's kind of their thing.
Okay.
And I would get in big trouble with, that gang if I were ever seen. So anyway, so if you're out there and you find a motorcycle helmet, definitely take it to weirdos. Don't bring it to me because I won't be able to buy it. But I can get you a hard hat.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take a hard hat. You guys want a hard hat? Something to protect that dome?
Sure, why not?
I do not need this hard hat that you are
That's true.
referencing.
Besides, you're wearing a baseball cap, so that your head slot is full. Cool. I'm gonna say a hard hat is he will quote you 15 caps.
Okay. I'll buy 3 of them for everybody.
Okay, so Stan knows that you're supposed to haggle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a hard hat. I'm not too.
I'm gonna step into barter.
I was just saying, word is getting around town that people with a bunch of caps that don't barter, which by the way, can drive the price up with subsequent merchants as the grapevine.
There's a critical barter or critical success for barter.
Okay.
2 successes.
So
3 successes.
This guy starts getting real excited, and then you step in, and I'm like, "Come on, man, we know how this works."
Point out the flaws. These helmets don't match. The clipping has clearly been after the fact.
Yeah. This one was repainted with nail polish. What are you talking about, man? Yeah. So he will give you. You said 3.
Yeah.
He will
one
give
for Stan, 1 for Royce, 1 for me.
Yeah, he'll give you all 3 for 15 because that was a critical success, which is actually a really good deal. So I think that is 1 for physical.
At least it's something for the head.
Yeah. Now Zam may not need this because he's got that special helmet on order. Although you were supposed to trade your vault suit for it. So that's gonna be tough.
Not really. I mean, I could just be like, yeah, someone took it from me when I was sleeping.
You don't want to wander around the wasteland with a My Little Pony helmet?
Not unless we pick up a side quest to take it to, I think Michael was his name.
I don't like My Little Pony. So that's fine. Anyway, so just don't get caught by weirdo because they're really going to want you to wear that helmet. Cool. Yeah. So that's head armor. Anything else?
I guess while I'm there, I would ask for my pike revolver to be repaired since it malfunctioned and broke.
Yeah. You can find a spot. 5 caps.
3.
No, it's actually 5.
But you're learning. Good job.
Correct.
And teach an old ghoul new tricks.
Yeah, and they'll just pull out. They'll pull out a kind of a piecemeal gun cleaning kit, break it down expertly. Oh God, who'd you get this from? Someone has
Got it from Carver.
Oh, that makes sense. Look, there's like I think this is like a piece of brain or something caught in here. And I'll just like give it a shake, like a tooth falls out, and clean it up. It's like you got to take care of this stuff, man. But it's a decent piece.
And I just picked it up. I mean, I picked it up right off of him, tried to use it, didn't really do a whole lot, didn't really get very far with it.
Well,
It just obviously malfunctioned on me. So.
yeah. Well, I it should be fine. It doesn't look like there's any like permanent damage to it. Just keep an eye on it. And for heaven's sake, clean it once in a while and not in the blood of your victims. Oh, it's what they do. Look, when they
Not what I do. I'm not a
I don't
carver.
know, man. I'm just saying. There's this whole thing when they kill some people and take their guns. They like dip the guns in the blood to like imbue the bullets with the spirit of the fallen. I don't know. Those people are crazy.
Pretty sure you're getting that mixed up. It's the hat that you dip in the blood, not the gun.
Okay, your gun's clean. You got to get out of here now.
They're called red caps, and he's gonna walk out.
Cool. So, anything else you want to do? You just kind of want to wander around town?
Royce will head towards the lodge to more unload the extra liquor and some of the more like the canned food.
Do you know someone, a contact, that would be as part of like the operations of the lodge?
Yeah, we'll go with yes. I could even burn a luck point to say that yes.
Sure.
I do have
somebody
who I know, or at least a contact of a contact.
Well, I think if you burn a luck point, that'll be sufficient to like definitely like someone.
I know somebody
who may be retired, and took a job, in logistics, basically, logistics and security, kind of, for the lodge, and who will give you, not great prices, but fair prices. The downside is that everyone here is so used to bathtub gin and moonshine.
Yeah, that's true.
That it would be unusual for there to be like a high demand for really high quality real stuff. But you're talking to your contact. What's her name?
Kells.
Okay. You're talking to your contact Kells, and he or she. She kind of is explaining. It's like, oh, they kind of got to keep this stuff for high rollers, and high rollers with taste don't get quite as many folks from the cities up here as we used to. But occasionally folks do come in, or maybe like a trade delegation, that's crossed the lakes and coming down to the cities. So I probably won't be able to flip it real quick. But I could buy it from you, or I could hold it on consignment. If I hold it on consignment, you'll make more. I'll just take 10% off the top, and then whatever I can pass it for will go to you. It's just that it's not as quick a payout. Or I can, give you what I think is fair now.
We can do the consignment. I have a feeling I'll be back up this way in a few months.
All right. Cool. How you doing for caps in general?
I started with 65, I think, and I'm down to 62 after
So you're doing okay. I think
Yeah.
I think her being a friend and to honor the fact that you spent a luck point, she'll say, "How about this? I'll buy this one direct from you for me." And so she'll give you 20 caps. And then the rest of it will be something that if you come back in a couple of months, I mean, who knows? It'll depend on how much she's able to squeeze out of the high rollers. But it could be decent. You've worked this kind of deal before. There's probably 100 caps in it. Maybe a little bit more.
Cool.
All right, well, stay
And then-
safe.
Yeah.
What's this I hear about you hanging around with a vault dweller?
Craziest job I've taken so far, and that's saying a lot.
Oh, so it was a job?
Kinda. It's still trying to work the angle on it, but yeah, it could lead to something big.
Well, I'm not recommending it, but if you want a payday, there's always the chop shop.
Yeah, that's the backup plan. I mean, thankfully we got him this far upright, so there's always the yeah. If he goes south, we'll see what we can get out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, don't wait. I know someone down kind of over in Chicago area. They ran across a vault dweller, and they were kind of thinking the same thing of keeping them around for a while. But by the time things went south, they were irradiated, they were poisoned, and just like all the stuff wasn't any good. So they got like barely anything for them. So I'm just saying, if you're gonna go that way, better sooner than later for the merchandise spoils.
Yeah, thanks for the advice.
All right, well, see you later. I might just take off early tonight, and then taps the bottle of whiskey. Cool. And there's plenty of amusement. Now, is anyone like gonna gamble, or like is Royce going to allow anyone to get caught up in the stuff that goes on at the lodge?
I think Royce will bring everybody close enough, especially Zam, just to kind of see what passes for entertainment in these parts. But without really going, not going and sitting at the fighting rings or the gambling dens or any of that, but just kind of like strolling through, seeing, it's probably noon by this point, so some people are waking up to fight off hangovers, and
People are already stumbling drunk.
yeah.
There's 100% like opium den style stuff going on right out on the street. It is very unsavory, Zam.
And also the little bit, this is why we didn't stay on this side of town.
Yeah. It's, I mean, if you're that type of person, it's great. But if you're the type of person that wants to live very long with health and any kind of caps to your name, not a great place to go. There's a high percentage of people here who have basically come here to burn out. And people notice Zam, but mostly they notice Zam for wearing a souvenir Izzy's soda work shirt and clean souvenir Izzy's work shirt and overalls. Like, some people make fun of you. It's like, what, do you work there? But no one kind of clues in the whole vault dweller thing. Someone probably does offer you, Royce, a pretty penny for Morty for the fighting rings. And start talking about, these guys aren't super combat capable. We could rip out one of those eyes. Throw in a laser projector, just hammer some spikes in, and worst comes to worst, we could rig its fusion core to self-destruct. So like if it looks like it's gonna lose it, it could just take out the competition. What do you think?
Robot's not interested.
All right. Well, if you change your mind, and just like that. People selling street meat, which is probably some of the people who didn't make it through last night. So yeah, it's just very seedy and unsavory, but it's, it's interesting, Zam. It's certainly just a host of new experiences. I will say, you do pass near Ruby's brothel, which the White Castle is pretty upscale. Ruby's is not. It's also very, very popular, even in the kind of noon hour. So I think, Zam, a few people proposition you with language that perhaps you're not quite sure what they're talking about.
Some ghouls, some actual, actual humans.
Yeah. There's some, I'm not smart enough to think of, but there's some like, once you go ghoul sort of saying. So you got to get that ghoul glow, baby. It's there's innuendo, but you're not quite sure exactly what it is they're offering you.
Right.
It's probably intriguing, but maybe also not super comfortable. But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. If you want to spend some of your caps to pick up little souvenirs, you can totally do that. There's a fair amount of Hinkytown merch for rubes passing through.
I think Stan just kind of just enjoys the town as it is and doesn't really, I don't want to say flaunts, but just kind of just walks around and just enjoys watching people kind of seeing what's going on. Because again, he's from the East Coast, so this is a little bit of different what he's used to. So I think that's what he does. I think he doesn't really kind of go any further than that at all.
The main thing you notice is that it is as corrupt and debauched as you're used to, only with a veneer of niceness on top. So it's this weird kind of a little bit of a culture shock for you. But all the things that you found familiar in dens of iniquity on the East Coast, you find here, just with a little bit of extra spin and some cheese curds thrown in for some reason. So yeah, it's a cultural experience. You have a day out in Hinkytown. Evening comes. I assume you head back to Tom's to pick up your.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, as promised, it is ready. It is a traditional men's suit. It is kind of a taupey green.
Mm-hmm.
Some lovely kind of brown, but with a little bit of oxblood in it, just to make the colors pop. Tom explains. Shoes and belt.
Mm-hmm.
So it is shirt, vest, jacket, slacks, shoes, belt. And there is a tie, and the tie is paisley. It's kind of a green and maroon. The maroon kind of picks up on the oxblood of the shoes. It's not what I would call subtle, but it looks nice.
Mm.
Well, try it on.
Zam will try it on.
It fits quite well. Tom knows his business.
Is there any padding to it?
So as you're in the changing room, you're filling through, there clearly is some sort of layer in between, not so much in the shirt, but in the vest and pants and jacket. You can feel there's some sort of slightly stiff, very slippy material in between the inner lining and the outer shell.
Would Zam know what that is?
Give me intelligent science.
2 successes.
It's ballistic weave, and get an AP.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I guess this will do.
And as far as you can tell, it's actually very expertly made.
Yeah.
You as you're looking very, very closely, you can see like an area where it had been repaired. Like maybe someone who had the jacket before got shot. But it's been well repaired. Like if you weren't looking really, really close at it under pretty good light, you would never notice. So it's been expertly repaired. So as you put it on, all you're going to need to do is switch your rad DR into physical DR.
Same number?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So 2 physical, 1 energy, no rad.
Yep, that's fine. We have a problem if we run across, people with gamma guns.
Yes. Or just the world.
Yeah, we don't run around in the world.
Yeah. But I think Tom will explain. Well, and if you like it, I can always upgrade it.
Oh. Well, I will remember that.
But I'm not doing lead lining. It's gonna make it hang all strange.
It'd be too
It
heavy.
would interfere with the draping of the fabric. We have to go with a very different kind of cut if you wanted lead lining.
Gotcha.
See, doesn't he look nice?
Yes, I wish I had one.
Well, I wish you had fancy friends who would recommend you.
I do have one. He's right here.
Oh,
See,
has a
he's in a
count.
suit now.
He's a customer, not a friend. Maybe if he becomes a repeat customer. Who knows?
Well, if he sticks around long enough.
Well, with that suit on, he might stick around a few days extra.
Fair enough.
All right, then. Well, don't die and become more important in life, and then I'll do business with you. Okay, go away. I need to get my dinner. You're probably all have been sitting there salivating because there's this wonderful smell wafting from the kitchen. He's making some sort of squirrel stew or something delicious like that. Cool.
I've never seen a squirrel around here.
That's
So
because
is it about midday?
This is evening. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the end of his day. You picked up the suit. Now, the question is, are you going to go deal with the situation with Weirdo in the helmet? Are you going to stay another night? Are you going to stop in with the local authorities and see if there's any jobs that need to be done? Or are you going to start trekking your way towards the zoo? Because you could certainly, if you want a fancy suit, you could find a way to raise your reputation here in town, but that would require doing something.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it up to the group.
Royce wants to head south.
So you want to leave the city?
I want to go to the cities.
The actual
just
city.
Because the actual city. Because A, the zoo's there, and B, with a properly working, OG Mr. Handy and this vault dweller who was not in a very unique vault, that information and just the access to them might be worth something.
Okay.
Cool. So, you going to stay the night, or are you going to just leave in the evening? And you got plenty of time to get out of town. And if you're going down the North Road, or going south on the North Road, it's reasonably safe.
I'm fine with us just leaving town right now, and we want to.
Cool. Yeah, so you'll start heading down. You'll probably hit. You'll probably sleep on the road tonight, and then probably make a stop in Sunrise River. And then, it's another day or so to Casino Corner, and then you're heading down to Canada, which is not that far from Como. So you're, a few days away from getting back into the cities. So cool. Well, so the sun hasn't quite set, but it's another really gorgeous sunset over the wasteland. As you make your way out, the main gates are fully open. There's still some kind of late traffic in and out. Good news is that Weirdo is not on post yet, so you don't have to explain why you didn't pick up. Although I think you probably can't help but walk nearby the shop and can see in the window a nearly completely constructed monstrosity of a helmet. It has, like, instead of horns, it has 2 Pip-Boy figurines. And of course, it's painted blue with like the gold stripe down the front. Clearly a bespoke piece that a lot of love was put in. And you're just going to leave them hanging. How dare you, Zam? But it's fine.
Well,
cool. And we see kind of a backlit shot of you guys walking into the wilderness down the road. And then the camera shifts a little bit and we realize that we're with a couple of people who are watching from the roof of one of the buildings. And they've got a spyglass out. So it's one of those things where, we get a clear cinematic shot and then it gets all distorted like it's through glass. And then we pull back a little bit and there's a couple of people. It is your friend from the Izzy shop. And a man wearing a badge. Or like a sash that says mayor on it, we'll say, just so we can establish who it is. And the man kind of pulls away from the spyglass. And he goes, they don't look like too much trouble. And she says, I don't know. That type usually is fish out of water. But it seems like he's already made some friends who can show him the ropes. I'm telling you, it's act soon or have greater difficulties later. If we give him time to adapt, he might be less pliable. And then the guy sits back and says, well, I mean, I'm the mayor. I make the decisions. And she says, yes, you do. And then kind of pets him a little bit. And you always make the right decision. So then we see him get up and walk down and kind of call to some people. Call in the boys. Got a job for them. And then we fade to black.
oh no, they're coming after Mortimer. We'll have to protect
Yes.
him.
Yes.
They want his 3 eyes.
Yes. Exactly. Well done. So you have experienced some of the wildlife. You have narrowly avoided becoming an unwitting participant in a meat raffle, and you did some shopping.
Yes.
Well done. And you have a fancy new suit, which doesn't stick out at all. But it doesn't stick out as bad as the vault suit, so that's good.
Yeah. So we have whatever the Royce and Stan's main quest is, Zam's possible main quest, and 2 side quests, I think.
Yeah. We're trying to
We
branch
have
out
to-
into all those radiant quests. Your list on your Pip-Boy is getting larger and larger, and you're having to flip like track quest off so you don't see 1,000 map markers everywhere and get confused.
Oh, man.
Don't worry. We'll do settlement building next time.
Not great. It's all Mortimer.
Yeah. But you are going to have to ally with the Institute. I mean, the academics. So, sorry. At least for this playthrough. Anyway, because
Align with the zoo.
he already... Whoa, there could be a zoo faction. We'll see. I'll have to think about that. Cool. I don't think we have the final of the trilogy on the calendar, but we will. We'll get it on the calendar. And then it seems like we're heading south, so we'll probably visit the zoo. And you might even live. Cool. Hey, let's do the thing where you tell people who you are and where they can see you. Let's start with Rith.
Hey, I'm Rith_13. You can find me occasionally playing games here or causing trouble in a few other channels. But that's it. Let's go to Villain.
I'm Villain, or You're Only Villain, or Vil. There's a few other nicknames. So you can find me here on C Plus Content, or you can find me over at our, I guess, sister channels. I guess that would be the appropriate. Yeah, you can find me over there. And that's pretty much about it. I can hang out on Discords. You can try to find me in there every once in a while. But yeah, go Van.
Govan, or as on Twitch, Govan88. Yeah, I don't really stream anymore. That might change soon, but I do these TTRPGs every so often on this channel, and then you'll probably find me over in Juice's channel in the chat quite often.
And I am the Backwin, and I have my own Twitch channel. I don't frequent Juice as much as I should. I don't know why. Just these streams are weird times. But I play a bunch of variety of different games. Trying to do more board games and maybe some more TTRPGs here.
And you were just playing Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster.
I would just because it came out and it's nostalgic for me. So, yes.
Awesome, cool. And I have been Zero. You're a narrator. This is part 2 of a Plan 3 as we try out the new Fallout 2D20 system by Modifius, which I know Rith has experienced a couple of other games with 2D20. Really, I personally really like it. It's one of my favorite. It's so easy to just pick up. The core mechanics are straightforward, but also really innovative. And that they tend to be fairly story based without adding a lot of complexity. So really appreciate it. And every time we play, I realize another thing that I was like, I'm not sure what the rule is for that. So I'll go look it up. And so I keep getting better every time. So yeah, come back and check with us when the third one comes out. And hey, head on over to cpluscontent.tv, which is our YouTube channel. And you can go ahead and subscribe there, because unlike Twitch, subscribing there is free. And if you're already on the YouTube channel when you're watching this, you gotta, I don't know, like give it a subscribe, give it a like or something like that. That'd be great. Other than that, stay tuned, and we'll be back with you soon. And goodbye, everyone on YouTube.